Alright, here's a live test. Voice and music, testing. Well, hello, I guess. Let's see. Is that working? Yep. Alright. So, yeah, I don't know. Introductions, all that. Playing some Stalker, Anomaly, run through a bunch of the previous the games a couple of times. I think I've played everything in. I've played Stalker, Call of Chernobyl, and Call of Pripyat all the way through, I believe. And as you do when you like a game, but you've basically done what the game was as the game was intended by developers, you seek out mods. So, yeah, I got into Anomaly. Seems pretty cool. Revamps the game in a few ways. A lot of little I don't know. I guess it's something you would consider almost a negative. The knickknacks, the item management of like, here's a bunch of little miscellaneous things and tinkering around with your equipment that, yeah, in a way is inventory minutia, but it also allows for more incremental looting and stuff. So you defeat a location, get a treasure stash, and instead of brand new gun and stuff, it's like you'll find necessary parts, useful equipment, things you can trade, sell off, and then you can put it together if you know how. All that good stuff, and I don't know. I guess it felt nice, but I can definitely see why it can be elitist, maybe makes things a little too difficult and tedious sometimes. And as everybody starts to see, once you get into the adult world with responsibilities, you don't have all that much free time, and I can definitely see why people want to save time by avoiding things like this. But I don't. Anyways, I got into it. As for my extended hiatus, I guess, been mostly around the internet, hung out on Twitch a couple times, and disappeared into the real world because that just tends to happen with people like me. And boy, oh boy, has the world been in a really interesting place. Apparently, from my stream analytics, my last stream of like 3 hours or something was in February of 2019 or something. And yeah, a lot going on in my life and outside of it. If for anybody following the news and stuff, and it's still going on. But I just felt like maybe I had to do something here. Um, yeah, I don't. I don't know what to do sometimes. Hey, Chris Havoc, been a while. Hello, hope you're okay. Yeah, a while since a good rant. Oh boy. You want some doomer talk? You want some doom scrolling? Without, needing a social media device or something? Just boy oh boy. If you had to hear it from me and not, any other community, like, oh, you guys are like family to me. You guys really support me and allow me to do what I do. And all that, a lot of the feel good platitudes and stuff. Some of it is legitimate and heartfelt, but a lot of it is not. And yeah, I don't know. I always wonder about if I were to get to that position. It's like, hey guys, how you feel about all the minimum wage stuff, the healthcare, the essential worker protection stuff. It's like, oh, but you guys pay me to play video games, and I really appreciate all that you do. It's like, how do you think they pay you in subscriptions and tips and stuff? Yeah, they work normal jobs, and and again, not to get into stuff about things like, oh, is streaming a real job? Is being entertaining a personality on the internet a real job? It's like, no, you got to put work into it, but to understand that there are people who also don't do well in normal jobs, who don't get the privilege of playing a game and interacting with people. In the past few years, I was feeling like this for a while, but it's only gotten worse now that the politics have started up again, and we're afraid that things aren't going to happen. It's like if I was to wonder, like, hey, how's the day job stuff going? Every time you guys want to come to Twitch to hang out and have fun and take your mind off of it, it's like, but they still have to go back to it even if I only see them for a few hours, and it is driving me mad as well because I'm not. I said that all that as a hypothetical for like if I were a full-time streamer, but I'm not, and yeah, that's what I have to go back to too. I have a real day job to go back to in a few hours, and I'm not even working the same 9 to 5 that a lot of people are, and I'm feeling the burn. I don't know if I can take it. It's obviously not so bad like I'm on the edge of a bridge or something stupid. But like, yeah, like looking forward to, and then another day, and another paycheck, and boy, can you do it? Can you keep up with quotas? Oh, you're being responsible. It's like I can't. I don't know if I can keep doing this, and there are people who do far more than that. Um, and so yeah, like I can only imagine the people that I haven't kept up with, the Twitch regulars, and stuff like that. Like they all do that. And yeah, ever since my last stream at February 2019 or something, seeing where all that's going, just oh boy. But anyways, I don't know if I can keep doing that. But yeah, Chris. So yeah, on your end, new gaming PC, nice. Yeah, there's all the. I don't keep up with a lot of the graphics cards. Like AMD has released a new thing apparently, and just like, but as long as you're able to play what you want to, everything is good. And of course, if we start talking about parts, it's like as soon as a piece of technology breaks, like sure hope you can afford it. Oh, back to talking about your day job and stuff because the money doesn't just come out of nowhere. Aside from a small loan of $1 million or something. But yeah, as long as you can have fun to keep your mind off of existential nightmares. And yeah, wrist healing up. Talking about medical care, we just see it all comes back. It always goes back. It's like, depending on where you live, it's like, oh yeah, well, I have insurance, so it wasn't that expensive. Okay, well, how much is the insurance? Do they cover anything? My day job involves some stuff like that, and I obviously can't get into specifics, but like, yeah, I see. It's the same thing as when I was moderating on Twitch. Just like any person that comes in, how are you doing? Oh, I just had a rough day, or I just got sick, and coronavirus. It's like, yep, and then I see it in my day job about like who's able to get help, who can afford it, and we're expected to keep this toppling this Jenga tower of society going, and I don't know how people do it. I don't know what we're headed towards for a few years, and I don't know, but yeah, hope everybody's doing okay. So as I tweeted out and in Discord and everything, yeah, this stalker, all the jokes about like people in the Eastern Europe, Russia in general, but like this kind of mindset of life is suffering, and so even when we make video games and stuff, we kind of incorporate it into these games. And so like there's games like Papers, Please, and this, and I'm sure there are plenty of others that didn't reach the same level of mainstream, um, where yeah, it's this weird solace you find escaping from the real world, but you create this alternate place of suffering. But as I've hypothesized in numerous other video games, the whole point of being satisfied with video games is you learn the rules, even when there's RNG involved. Video games allow you to bend the RNG to understand the challenge so that you are more often than not rewarded for your decisions, as opposed to the real world where you can do everything right and get fucked over completely. And as we all know, in the real world, when you suffer and die or otherwise take a crippling injury that lasts the rest of your lifetime, we usually don't get to do those over. Anyways, whew. Yeah, Chris, I know, right? It's definitely this is one of those times where it's good to know I'm the same as I've ever been, right? Is if I came back, it's like you've changed. It's you've forgotten your roots. It's like no, no. But yeah, I haven't played anything with the game running for sure. It's like maybe it's maybe it's part of the policy, where a good enough streamer would have stuck to a schedule and not even teased people with like the starting menu of a game. It's like they just have a blank enough screen with an intro and their theme playing or something. It's like here's another 10-15 minutes of talking and how do you do's and stuff before you start building up expectations and stuff like that. So maybe I should do that too, but again, it's graphics and stuff like that. I don't have a cutesy VTuber avatar yet or anything, and investing in that other than what my Tech Marine gif. So yeah. Anyways. Um. But yeah, I just felt like it's been like 2 years and stuff, and I figure a lot's happened, and just to kind of gloss over 2 years of a lot of stuff, where people talk about like sometimes there's weeks where years of history go by. It's like boy oh boy has it been a couple of years, but anyways. But yeah, Chris, RNG battle royale. Oh, for sure, and that's a whole other level of RNG. Once you're accounting for like the mind games of other players, it's like, oh, here's the optimal strategy. And actually, because this is the most popular thing, because it's the most effective thing, now you can just use the counter. And then the counter to the most popular meta of the game, and then that'll change things because now they're expecting you to build up the counter, so then they counter that counter. So yeah, like at least within the confines of a single-player strategy game or something, you understand what the developers usually try to do. Darkest Dungeon, all that sort of thing, and or FTL. It's like, yeah, they don't constantly throw the most useful ass-kicking meta at you, so you actually get a variety of play styles and all that. But for sure, I've seen a lot of I know Apex is still going. But yeah, Chris. Yeah, Discord message shocked the hell. The fuck? Yeah, he's gonna stream. I know, right? It's a thing, just disappearing, falling off the face of the earth, and I totally get it. There are people, as I've said before, like in my time on Twitch, you see familiar screen names. Sometimes they go away for months, years. Sometimes they never come back at all. Like I said, people disappear into the real world. They grow up, air quotes. Yeah, and just like if they grow out of this phase of their life, then they're totally able to do that. And it just sucks though, because maybe there are people online who miss you. Obviously, it's a parasocial relationship and stuff. Like, do you call them real friends? Would you share personal information? No, but you get to know them, and like I said, you hope they're doing okay. Every single time somebody pops in, like, how you doing? Well, we don't know. I don't know if we can get into politics and privacy, and finances and healthcare. Right? Like I said, there's so much going on, but yeah, people, you get a feel for people. You miss them, and that's where maybe it's even more. That's maybe why it's even more shocking when they inevitably let loose their politics. It's like, actually, I'm kind of okay with the status quo the way things are, and then that lights the entire chat aflame. It's like, well, I thought we were all here to hang out and have fun, but these people are the reason why it's so hard to have free time to stream and stuff on Twitch. It's like, what, Quan? Why can't you? No, Jesus fuck. Martin, why can't you? Well, putting up the act, huh? I'm 2 years out of practice, I guess. But yeah, why don't you stream more? It's like, cause day job, and I'm gonna fail everybody. I'm like, There are people who would die because they become homeless. We're already kind of privileged by the fact that we have technology. Like I said, computers. If my computer broke down, it's like $1,000. Obviously, you might get little parts here and there and lower the cost and put it together yourself. But like, where does that money come from? I got to go to the day job, and then do I? How's the rent and healthcare? If I was going back to like a cheap rental place just to live the past couple of years, how many thousands and thousands of dollars would I be out? I'm only here and alive and working the low enough hours and still stressing out about those. At the day job, I'm only here, and I got the fucking job in 4 hours. Because I'm a loser by standard social metrics, I guess. There's a lot of articles coming out about the lowering birth rate and lower in younger generations. The amount of people who move back in with their parents, the number of people who might have degrees and student loans and debt, and who don't have jobs relating to those majors, who don't make enough money to pay back what they were promised when taking loans and what their expectations should be for joining society. And I'm not saying never, self-improve with like higher learning and stuff like that, but yeah, all the rants from comedians, George Carlin, a lot of stuff about the American dream. Like, I am super lucky to have the familial support system that I have. It's not perfect, certainly, and I'm kind of broken from that too. But yeah, the privilege of having a computer, a warm place, Texas, and all that, just people dying in the cold as if we were living in a fucking Frostpunk scenario, because of privatized or yeah, energy infrastructure and stuff like that in a supposed first world country. Yeah, the fact that I get the free time to spend on the internet and try to stream a fucking video game when people are working jobs just to try to survive, it's there's kind of this understanding of my own privilege and stuff. Right? I think there was on live stream. There was a live stream fails about a room full of streamers or whatever, talking about the Texas energy stuff, and right, like I didn't really get into it because it's drama, but I saw it on Reddit and stuff. Like, yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of rich or relatively well-off streamers. It's like, yeah, I'm doing fine. I don't get what the big deal is. And just like people are dying in this weather, completely unnecessarily. And then of course the whole coronavirus thing, right? I don't know if where our society's headed as far as self-awareness and empathy for everyone around them, and it's making things really hard to make it day to day and stuff. I don't know how to feel about some of this stuff. But that's why I'm here to play a game based on suffering and stuff, where you have difficulty settings, where you're not forced to do the worst possible thing, because even even the developers of a sci-fi Chernobyl disaster aren't as cruel as the real world. I'd rather fight some sort of mutated monstrosity around a radiation disaster than deal with the real world where they don't care. Hey there, Patty Squid! Holy cow, when's the last time I streamed? Yeah, apparently, according to my stream analytics, like February 2019. So, a couple things have happened since then. Real world, politics. Yeah, just life happens, right? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, not watching Twitch as much as you used to. Oh yeah, pretty much. This is exactly what used to happen in the old streams, right? I would rant, and then somebody new would come in. I mean new like, missing the previous rambling. And there's nothing wrong with that because again, there's no obligation for how much free time you're obligated to spend here. How dare you? Go check the VOD. You're not worth my time. You're just a number in chat to give me money. No, yeah, like you're a person, so it's cool. But yeah, like people are able to grow out of these phases. You hope that they're doing okay, but some people never come back to Twitch. You'll never see those screen names again, but you hope they're okay. There's a real person behind all of those. For sure, yeah. Yep, Chris. Yakuza 0. Oh, the innocence of like wacky, wacky fun times. And of course seeing, joking about like Japanese work ethic and society and stuff, and then seeing, everything in 2020, right? Pandemic, our U.S. response, a lot of the Western response, alternate truth, the suffering of millions of people, the people who received, diseases, injuries, a lot of people dying, the people who don't die, the change in lifestyles required for like we're going to quarantine. We expect everybody to work for the greater good. Um, don't do anything out of profit, but because it's going to hurt somebody if you do otherwise. No, but my freedom. And yeah, an entire year of that since all the way through 2019 to 2020, and here we are. Yeah, I don't know if I can keep talking about it without like you know, my eyes glazing over and I get the 1,000-yard stare, like a Vietnam vet PTSD, and just like there's a lot of thoughts I don't know if I can get into without it consuming the entire couple hours I have here, and then I don't know, but maybe that's the kind of thing I should expect when I disappear for 2 years off the face of the earth, and my already existing social anxiety and awkwardness is compounded by my horror at the way the real world treats everybody. And then, of course, my day job, in which I basically do the same thing in regards to healthcare and doctors' information. But yeah, Yakuza Zero, Twitch, yeah, Patty Squid. Oh, audio, yeah, answers, open the stream. Yeah, it's good old Twitch, right? Yeah, I have it set so the game doesn't have music because this is the kind of game where you're gonna be running around in the dark at in the middle of like the rain and stuff, and you want every sound effect to be relevant. I don't want like some tense music and then suddenly I get mauled from behind by like a monster or shot because a bandit snuck up on me because of combat music. But yeah, you can hear the clicks. So, but yeah, so I hopefully Twitch isn't glitching too much, but pretty much my rambling about the real world, about people who don't have enough time to be here constantly, yet they are regulars, and you understand that they're entirely people with their own lives, and that's a level of empathy that's important. This self-analysis, self-awareness, to realize that everybody is fallible and admit when you're wrong. Again, the entire politics of the world where we can just watch hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people die prevent unnecessarily, and just life keeps going, and you're allowed to do that. And then yeah, I don't get it, Chris. Yeah, keep the really bummer stuff to yourself to not make me more upset. Yeah, I get it, because that's happened a few times where this is the nature of empathy, where and what I've said about eldritch horror. Oh yeah, for sure, Dalswip. Hello. Yeah, death ray hasn't changed, but yeah, sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's I kind of meant like in addition. It's not even that it was whether it was different. The scary thing is once people are kind of aware of it, it's this thing where you can no longer even claim blissful ignorance. Once it's in your face, and then people still say like, but life's kind of going back to normal, right? That level of complacency creates this new horror, where it's a difference between like my memories of getting bullied in grade school versus seeing somebody watch you get bullied and they don't do anything, right? Both events are terrible, but in another event, you can see them not care about you. That's the extra level of it, right? But yeah, totally. It's not that each death is always a tragedy, but it's now a greater tragedy when they expose how little they really care about you, and then life just goes on. Life shouldn't. I mean, in a way, yes, life has to go on, but it's like at least acknowledge something changing, something different, so that it's not like the deaths were for nothing. Jeez, it's like I feel like I'm living out these characters from like a big one recently was like Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses, where like how much of your character arc is about not letting go of the past and stuff. It's like you're crazy. You're talking to dead people. You're hallucinating. It's like it doesn't have to literally be that, but just this desire to like not let go or like seek vengeance and stuff like that. But don't let the deaths be for nothing. And just like that's how we move forward as a society. But we won't do that. And if we try to hold anybody accountable, we don't do that either. And if you suggest anything different, you're like a barbarian. Yeah. Sorry. I know, Chris. Right? I know. Best to start playing before I really have to leave. Yeah, for sure. I just like get some gameplay in, but in a sense, maybe the talk was maybe the most important part. Again, like I say, that's kind of kept me a few days away, where I start trying to set up the stream and then like, well, I only have a few hours. I might as well just play because I'm gonna have to. This social anxiety where it's like, oh, they're gonna wonder where I've been, and we're gonna get our hellos out of the way, and then that'll start a whole other conversation, and then I just didn't stream. So like, and then I go to work, and then I'm too tired, and then I wake up at noon the next day, and then well, I've only got a few hours before work, so I might as well not stream today either. And so I just finally hit that click start streaming button, and like here we are, and already yeah, I'm rambling again. But is it is it the mental health aspect? Is it the parasocial relationship? Like at least I can vent to somebody, past quarantine, via digital means and stuff. But yeah, it's just I don't know what to do anymore. Because I keep watching people suffer and die, but we're not allowed to do anything. And if we suggest anything different, you're crazy. And obviously, we've seen how taking direct action can be abused because that happened at our capital. But I can't. I don't know. I can't keep joking air quotes about French Revolution stuff about like boy oh boy it sure be nice if you just stopped giving these horrible people more chances to hurt us again and again. I'm sure they've learned their lesson and then they do it again. And then they delay politics and then people keep oh well, don't you hear you might get that minimum wage later. Anyways, god damn it. No, it's yeah, let's start focusing on alternate reality suffering. So yeah, Patty's good. Ugh. But yeah, sorry. So Chris, yeah, venting a lot. Right. It's good to have this, and that's why it was important that I was self-analyzing across these years. It's not like I was just day job, home, woe is me, alone, and then I go back to work. Right. Like that way would lie, uh, disaster and stuff. But definitely, I've joked on Twitter and stuff. I've checked out the news, and even when I self-analyze with myself, it's like we're hoping for something better. Um, and yeah, co-op is good. So yeah, Patty Squid, what game is this? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, full standalone. Right. Apparently, you could just download this off of like ModDB, I believe. But whenever you search Stalker Anomaly, but this is based off of the Stalker series. So basically, like that. I know there was a Chernobyl, um, not like a sitcom, like Fate, whatever documentary majigger thing on Netflix or something. It was like a show that got popular in 2020. But yeah, like what if the Chernobyl disaster happened and then a bunch of creepy sci-fi stuff happened, like SCP sort of, but not really. It's just like mutations, radiation. You got crazy anomalies with like, a lot of people would liken it to Metro probably took some inspiration from this. Like Roadside Picnic, I think, is a book. A lot of this kind of these Russian novels about like some wacky powers, about themes about like humanity and greed, some artistic stuff. But yeah, what if you could just go wandering around, uh, fighting off bandits, different factions, trying to take advantage of supernatural powers, artifacts that defy explanation, and you sell them for money, and then you use those funds to equip yourself and go out and find some more. Um, and so yeah, this mod is based on those series, and obviously it'd be nice if you supported the developers. Apparently there's Stalker 2 stuff in production, and I don't want to get my hopes up about that because we've seen Cyberpunk 2077. I've ranted numerous times about other franchises where, oh, look at this cool new thing, and you get let down. Dawn of War 3, right? Like, I think on top of everything else that's been happening the past 2 years, it's like, yeah, getting disappointed in a hobby you love. It's like, let's not do that again. But yeah, Stalker 2 stuff. I think their developers were also doing Survarium, which was like multiplayer shooting, so definitely not my thing. But But yeah, it'd be nice if you supported them, and hopefully Stalker 2 is good. But you can get this standalone, and yeah, you pick a bunch of factions. It's like, well, you can see from the history here. It's like imagine a bunch of factions vying for power, stuff. You have these, uh, yeah, freelancer kind of people. Just again, everybody just kind of looting, uh, selling off, parts, equipment, and like I said, like magical artifacts that you run your face into, and hopefully you don't die, and hopefully you don't take so many injuries that it costs you more in medical care and food to rest up before you can go back out and do it all again. Oh yeah, and repairing your gear so that you're not wandering naked into a gunfight or something. And yeah, it shows relationships with all these factions. The game has a great system of AI. I mean, it's dumb AI in a way, but the game simulates a bunch of NPCs like making patrols, searching anomalies, going to different locations, and they will fight the other factions they don't like. A lot of the humans will fight monsters because because the monsters will wander into them. If you let the groups fight it out, you can pick over the corpses, harvest the parts from mutants, loot the dead bodies of enemy soldiers, take their gear, repurpose it for your own, sell it back to them. Right? It's just a great game for like wandering around and what a lot of people would call emergent storytelling. Even though, yeah, you don't really, the NPCs are not full on deep conversation RPG characters. A couple key characters are, but for the most part, the characters that wander around are basically loot sacks who can sometimes give you quests. But still, it's just, again, fun to wander around. Yeah, you can take like, hitman jobs, like kill this guy, and it marks something across the map, like mercenary work, escort jobs, artifact hunting. It's like, give me this specific artifact. A lot of stuff like that. And so, yeah, I joked around about how, like, I'm trying to escape from the suffering of my daily life by going into the suffering of this imaginary one. Like a lot of people playing Papers, Please. So, but yes, so there's that, Patty Squid. Yep, Chris saying full standalone mod, rare stuff, Stalker games. Yeah. Yeah, old-timey installations. DVD, optical game installs. Oh yeah, and stuff like the floppy disk. Oh, you mean the save icon? And then everybody just feels so old. What's that? Uh, yeah, crazy. Yeah, not talk about Dawn of War 3. I haven't kept up with whatever everybody else is doing. I think the last thing I heard from Relic was like the new was like an Age of Empires remake. I don't know, but anyhow, yeah. So, whew, all that stuff with like franchises, hopes for the future, but can we really hope for the future with like video games as opposed to like our real world stuff? Anyhow, so I guess I'll just role play it out with being a loner. The faction that everybody in this game likes to beat up because they are generally weak. Um, it's it's justified in game as a bunch of basically, yeah. If it'd be like if you or I got interested in the get rich quick schemes of the zone. Like I hear that if you just pick up this magical artifact, you can sell it back for like $100 to some scientists and stuff. It's like, okay, and how many of us will die trying to get it? But hey, if it's preferable to the day job, maybe, huh? So I'll just try that. Ugh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And so yeah, you got the dumbest starting gear. You're not expected to really make anything of yourself. Oh gosh. I started off on really easy because this is the sort of game where its difficulty is insane, but it works both ways. So it's fair in how unfair it is. As in, even for most top tier enemies, if you land a couple good headshots, a basic pistol will kill some of these N tier enemies. Until you get into like mutants with like tank armor skin. But for the most part, like human enemies, headshots. Even a good helmet can only stop like 2 or 3 maybe. But yeah, even so, like you will die almost instantly. You can change the difficulty of like progression, right? If you don't want to, I'm gonna grind out reputation with this faction so I can get access to higher tier gear and stuff. And I want to not get rewarded as much for my quests.
and sell prices and stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't want to waste my time. So I usually pick the lowest, but I know people try to do stuff like I'm gonna do hardcore difficulty, Iron Man. It's like Stalker's the kind of game where you're gonna like take one step out of place and you will blow up in some sort of mystical magic anomaly. So like I don't understand the people who do this, but sure, if you just want to play so safe, uh, by all means. I guess I would recommend medical gear and probably shotgun. I don't think they let you start with ammo, so it's just to have the weapon. It might not even be worth it because you'll usually find one of these pretty quick. It just saves you time. Hmm. I don't know. I guess you usually start off with a sniper because, as I've said, the game is so ball-bustingly hard sometimes that I guess if there was a meta to this game, it's you want to kill things before they ever have the chance to hurt you. So snipers, scoped rifles, anything that, yeah, like I said, taking out a tough human opponent with a headshot before they ever send a bullet flying at you and costing you a ton of money in recovery. So if we want to talk about like real world healthcare jokes, but like I said, if you try to if you get hurt and stuff and you start bleeding, I think I've found, depending on difficulty, it's like if you want to stop your bleeding, the bandages cost like 600 rubles or so, depending on where you get it in the game. And then some of the first aid, you get two uses here to basically fill up your health bar. And like the med kit is like 3,000 maybe, or I don't know. I think the price is lower once you get your reputation up. So yeah, the idea is like you take one bullet and it just to stop the bleeding, 600. To recover your health, 1,500. If you cut the cost of the med kit in half. So a single bullet hitting you might be like 2,000 rubles. And then when you sell an artifact, which may or may not be there, based on spawn rates, and you have to be lucky enough to get there in the first place, you have to have this detector. It has to be the right tier of detector to detect an artifact in the first place, because even if a stronger one's there, if you don't have the right detector, you're not going to be able to see it and pick it up. So if you satisfy all of that, then you might be able to survive radiation and other elemental damage to reach an artifact, pick it up. It might be an inert one, but you might have to carry it back in one of these, which also costs more money, all the way back to a scientist who will then give you maybe like 5,000 rubles, right? 5,000, which would cover like one and a half injuries, and that's not counting maintenance of your gear, ammo, all that. Like, it is kind of insane. That, which is again why I choose this lower difficulty stuff. But that's like a basic thing about this game, where like yes, once you get into the routine of like I'm doing well, I know the right patrols to take, I know the most profitable artifact hunting zones and stuff, and then you will be okay. But there is an aspect of this game where like it really is papers please of like breaking your balls, like this is another day in the zone and stuff, where you kind of embrace the suffering. But anyways, I am just absolutely going off on a rant here. But yeah, Chris, yeah, Escape from Tarkov, slimy bastards that aren't human. Oh yeah, for sure. That's the thing I really love about it. Um, in a lot of fiction uh, where there are non-human races, and then even in anime with stuff like anthropomorphic monster races, like oh here's a centaur and stuff. But yeah, the phrase that I've heard from that is like, well, they're only monsters on the outside because we live in the real world where there's a lot of humans that look like you, but who are they on the inside? Oh, I won't. I'm not a violent criminal. I won't just stab or shoot you, but I will pass a law that will hurt hundreds of thousands or millions of people. And for some reason, that's not considered the same kind of crime. And we won't be prosecuted. And I've made enough friends where I don't get in trouble for that. But, who's the real monster? So, yeah. Okay, oh god, I'm not moving off this fucking screen. Good old days, good old days. So yeah, if I'm gonna... Oh shoot, 300 points. Maybe I should just assume I'm not gonna be doing artifact hunting for a while anyway, so... My starting points... just to wander around, I guess. Sure. Okay. There's all this. You could basically do a Dark Souls thing where you can only save at a campfire, which is, and and you can only light the campfire if you're carrying matches or kindling and stuff. Right. There's all sorts of RP stuff. There's like a mode where you just fight human enemies, which again which I feel is kind of bullshit. It's kind of like playing the Aliens games. It's like, oh, but I want to fight human enemies. It's like I thought the whole point of Aliens was like the aliens and maybe the Predator stuff, right? And that's where like apparently I've a lot of the games have some problems sometimes. But yeah, like no, I want to play in the zone where there are factions, sure, of human enemies, but like face the mutants and stuff. You're surviving in this kind of wacky sci-fi nature thing. So I don't really get why you would just go into a warfare mode. It's like I just want to shoot. Call of Duty. Call of Duty with like magical artifacts, I guess, for control points. But like, yeah, why? Why would you even do that? Yeah, and other cool stuff. There's a zombie mode, which I kind of get that. I'm closer to this than the Call of Duty mode. It's like, sure, if you want to, even though it's kind of boring, but if you want to RP a zombie apocalypse, sure. But it literally removes most spawns except zombies. You lose a ton of NPC humans. You lose most other mutant types. I think you can still get like, there's like a couple humanoid enemies, and specifically like controllers, and a few, and like you get like controllers, which are like psychic things that create zombies. You get like the basic stumbling zombie, and then you get like snorks, which are the crawling, jumping guys with gas masks, and these long, lanky dudes that run a lot quicker at you. So, yeah, it in a way it's kind of cool, but it still removes a lot of the diversity from the game of like unique mutant encounters and other factions. And then yeah, I talked about like Iron Man. I don't get why you do it because you die so quick in this game. Anyways, so there's all that. Um, yeah, that's most of the stuff. Cool. Oh God. So yeah, Chris, being a strategy, XCOM Long War, decided to strategically retreat from it. Yeah, reminded you of me. Oh, thank you for remembering me. Yeah, I guess that's been nice too, seeing that people still bring up my name every so often in a few of the other communities. I used to spend a lot more time in before the darkest timeline. Um, but yeah, hopefully you find some kind of strategy game. I'm sure you moved on to whatever else got your fancy at the time, but yeah, I'm still happy to have that strategic retreat name. Know when to back down, but do it smart. I still feel bad about XCOM 2. I mean, you mentioned it's just XCOM Long War, not 2, but yeah, if you want that kind of game, ugh. Still feel bad that couldn't really balance XCOM 2 the way I wanted to, or it took so much modifying that it just ended up being entirely other game, and you could never really change its core values of what it wanted to be. It's like, oh well, it's all about killing stuff in one turn, and I guess I could adapt to that. But then at that point, it's an entirely other playstyle I didn't like. So why even play it at this point? And I'm glad I got to support it for some amount of time, anyways. And, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've had it for a while. I just, ugh. But yeah, for sure, I'm glad people are still able to have fun with it. And of course, there's all the voice mods and stuff like that. So it's still good that people are. Oh God. Hopefully that's not the streaming that's making it do that. I set up the bitrate because obviously there's gonna be a lot of shooting and movement on screen, so that was gonna go blurry as soon as anything happened. Ugh. Oh yeah, and not only do I have Anomaly, but in the description below, I have my usual mod cheat, and if you just Control F there, you'll see what extra stuff I tacked on. I forget off the top of my head, but there's stuff like, I added, one of the big things was the sound files for the game. And yeah, it just like changes a lot of stuff like the movement speed. Well, obviously you can't see it here because the avatar here is only exists in FPS mode from like the hands back. Um, but apparently, and I've seen, well, not apparently because I can see it or hear it, but they change like the sound of footsteps, the ambient sound effects in the base game, because in the base game, part of the dialogue, or not dialogue, but part of the sound effects for maps would be like every once in a while they're just gonna play the sound effect of a mutant, and which is cool for ambience, but that does mean that every once in a while that you were gonna lie to the player. Every once in a while you're gonna lie to the player by playing a sound effect and make it sound like there's a monster somewhere nearby. Stuff's like, no, I want to not have a fake reaction to that, and actually know when a mob of enemies is there, so I can react accordingly. So I modded that, so it's not going to randomly play those. It just makes certain like footsteps louder, so you know when somebody's sneaking up on you. You're able to hear mutants at a distance, so that even without binoculars, you can just like look over. And it's like, ah, yeah, it's obviously coming from that direction, and now I won't just go running there. God damn it. See, like, do I just keep playing? It's like, there's a hunger system. There's like a survival element in this game where your character gets sleepy, hungry, and thirsty, and that will slowly affect you because obviously your health will go down if you get hungry or thirsty. And if you get sleepy, your character is going to regenerate energy less. And then their vision's going to get blurry, and if that happens in the middle of a fight, you will die. And stuff. So I don't want to leave the game running while I ramble and read chat because, like, you're wasting resources. Because now I'm going to have to buy new food, and I can't afford that in the early game. So yeah, XCOM, all that. Yeah, sales, Chris, pickup price. A while since an FPS. Oh, for sure. For the exact reason I just said. Like, the problem with, like, oh, I play some real-time games, but that does bring about the problems of interaction. Because as soon as something starts to happen, I can't just read, even though everybody's worthy of attention. Skimming through, it's like, hey, you're new here. Oh, you're finally awake. Welcome to Skyrim. Yeah, no, just welcome, teaching newbies. Yeah, basic. I'm a guy, I teach newbies and stuff. One of the other things I modded out, well, not modded, a basic difficulty setting or whatever gameplay change, is you can turn, I forget where it is in these menus, but might be in, the zone? Helicopter, yeah, helicopter patrols. So, I turned that off because it's pretty stupid. It's if you hadn't seen it, if you haven't played it and seen it, what happens is, for RP purposes, it's cool that different factions will send helicopters as air support. What's dumb is that because AI is stupid, the helicopters will like park their asses directly over the newbie village. At least when I played as a loner. The military helicopter parks itself above this village, starts minigunning all of the guys in here, and it will occasionally kill you, and it will kill a lot of them. And in a way, it's, one, dumb because it's more difficult for you, but then it's also dumb even if you survive, and it's like a skill check for you, because you're able to loot the dead bodies of all these other guys in the newbie village, which means you're getting a bunch of extra gear that you shouldn't have. You can either sell it off or use it yourself, right? So it's, in effect, even if you don't die to that difficulty setting, you are getting free stuff, which feels weird and kind of conflicts with the whole Stalker experience. So as much as, like, everywhere else it felt good to kind of avoid patrols and have the air support either assist or hurt you, in this one spot, because I played as Stalkers, as loners, in fact, in the loner faction, because of that one event where it's like, wow, he's just not going to leave, I had to turn it off. So yeah, that's the one thing. Like, maybe if you weren't playing as a loner, that's another difficulty option you could turn on, and then it's cool because you get another achievement in game for, like, I've killed a helicopter with sniping its tail enough times, or sending an RPG. You can eventually find one, launching a few RPGs at it. So yeah, Chris. Yeah, discuss past interactions. Yeah, FPS games. Yeah, yeah, Fallout, Chris. It was still a good time in a way, but For sure, getting distracted. And all the other Fallout stuff, Fallout 4, 76, yeah. Oh gosh. And then hey, Metaphysical Mind, hello, hello. Yeah, missed me. Likewise, it's just real life, man, and I've rambled so much already. I don't know if at this point if I say stuff like check out the first 30 minutes of the broadcast or hour of the broadcast for my rants about like, boy, it's been a long 2 years and a lot of things have happened, hasn't it? But yeah, it's needless to say, there's a lot going on. I've got a real day job hours that I'm stressing about, like maybe I'll make it doing something else, but yeah, all these screen names, everybody's a real person. Even when I wasn't on Twitch, every news article about coronavirus, random people I've never met dying, like that's the power of empathy and self-analysis is like I don't have to have met those people to care about them as more than statistics. All I have to do is imagine them as one of you guys or which sounds super cheesy even as I say it right now, but the whole aspect of like you're just a screen name. Yeah, and all of those other people in the obituaries that didn't have to be there were also a person that I could have met at some point. That doesn't mean they don't matter, which is why I am almost blindingly angry about certain things, and it makes me almost irrational. Um, but yeah. So, Meta, yeah, hope I'm doing well. Well, maybe I should have read that comment before saying some of the other stuff about how I'm, about dying a little bit inside as I see humanity continue to circle the drain, and stalling in progress, and everybody claiming things are back to normal, and everything's gonna be fine and optimistic. It's this weird thing, because of how, I think in the past 2 years, I'm pretty sure I got into Hero Academia after I stopped streaming. I think it was in the past year and stuff. So it's kind of it's kind of ironic that I got into that because of how much I like somebody like All Might, who represents that exact problem of like everything's gonna be okay because I'm here. But you can't actually promise that, and part of the story is that things are not okay. And and just like the Joker movie, I'm tired of pretending it's okay. Ooh, that's a good selling item early on. But yeah, so like, one of my I wouldn't say new, but new because I haven't said it on stream since, again, February 2019. So new for us is that, like, optimism and reassurance ironically has like an opposite effect on me now because of how many reassuring messages I've seen. So it's kind of like how misery loves company. I'm actually more reassured by, oh god, don't trap me in here, buddy. Oh no, we're hitting the Skyrim problem, companions. Yeah, I think it's because he's escorting me for one of the early quests. But yeah, I think that we're reaching a point in what I tweeted out a while back. We're hitting an age where fake it till you make it, and other things like that are okay. Yeah, it's super dangerous to get stuck in here because of this guy for now. I guess I'll just do the fucking quest. Anyways, see, I think that people are seeing the collapse of fake it till you make it and pretending that everything's okay because everybody's so worn out from the facade. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Well, time to get on with my day. We're kind of seeing past it now and seeing how many people are burning out. The way things are, work weeks, compensation, the view of essential workers, and everything else. But, and that's what's been happening in the last 2 years. We've been seeing that across the globe in different ways. It's like, oh yeah, and now over here, we clap for the essential workers. Yay! Or thoughts and prayers. And obviously thoughts and prayers has been around for years. Thoughts and prayers have been around for years, long before coronavirus, but it just goes to show how much we were doing the same thing. We've been doing the same thing with no real fundamental changes. And again, that's something people are very tired of. So yeah, I don't know exactly what the time frame is on when we've had enough. Because obviously society hasn't collapsed yet. And I doubt it's, nobody's hoping for it to, by the way, but, foreseeing such a problem. I don't know. I just don't want to see anybody else, get hurt, die because of it. Just when if all the things that have been happening keep happening, and oh my god, um, oh thanks, buddy. Uh, that stalker, you're just gonna turn a corner and get gored by a fucking boar. Ah! um, okay. Oh, there's a third one. Well, luckily we've reached the edge of their aggro range. Let's see how meta. Yeah, life progressing. Yeah. Yeah, again, it's day job, and like I said, though, it's tough because, quotas, healthcare. I did it. Thank you. And of course, AI don't use up actual bullets, so it's economically feasible for them to do the work for you. So sadly, your starting knife isn't strong enough to skin boars, so you actively lose out on loot until you are able to get a better knife, which you will only get after doing enough jobs and getting reputation with the faction so that they will even sell you that knife. Then hopefully you have the money to buy it once it's available, which will then allow you to hunt better and get stuff to sell. So it's pretty much a direct case of the rich get richer, except with hunting knives. Martin, that's just such a Debbie Downer thing of you to say. Yeah, I guess so. But I totally get it, Chris. It's okay. So anyway, gosh darn it. Yeah, optimism meta. Yeah, ping if you need to chat here on Twitch, here into your message. Yeah, it's fine. I know there's a lot. And Chris, and for sure, yeah, unfollowing on Twitter, being a downer, it's okay. I understand. I've said it. I've also joked about that before, about how all of this really is like a simplification of the entire Eldritch lore. The idea that there are aspects of the world that humanity is not meant to comprehend. Like if you gaze into the abyss or into some sort of cosmic horror about the insignificance of humanity in the grand scheme of things, regarding like eldritch gods, it's like you are nothing. You are a speck of dust. And complete nihilism, meaninglessness, don't do anything. It's like, yeah, that whole mythos of like, and then the person seeing that was driven mad. Like, I get it. And so, yeah, the idea that humanity is not meant to intake certain levels of tragedy, right? Which is, again, why things like, genocides and other horrific things throughout history are statistics, and the more you look into it, the more people will, have physical reactions. Like, I was physically sick, hearing and reading about the things that happened and stuff, and if you see photos, you will vomit and obviously feel sad. And so, yeah, I totally get it. There are times where you're not meant to handle this, and that's why for some people you can't hear about bad news, and sometimes it's sad because that keeps us from awareness, sort of thing where we would normalize, like, no, we need to talk about this thing, we need to fix this thing, and start some sort of like group effort to change things and hold people accountable. But on some basic level, yeah, again, we can't physically handle it, and when I'm in the depths of despair, it drove me to not do anything. And that kind of compounds on itself because, like, I wouldn't stream, I wouldn't socialize online, which, again, maybe that's not good enough, but, at least I had something to do, and that makes you feel sad, which drives you down even more. And suddenly 2 years have gone by and you haven't been on Twitch, you haven't hung out and moderated and talked to people. They say they miss you, but it's a parasocial relationship. You feel like you don't deserve to be there unless you're more successful again and you can really spend your time on them, that they deserve better, but that it's okay for you to not be at your best, because nobody's really at their best. Right, and like this is just like surface level thoughts. Oh, right, maybe he's gonna hand me a, what am I supposed to do here? Oh, just reach it. Well, I'm here. Yeah, like, and obviously there are some very deep self-analytical things I've done for years now. And obviously, so it's I know that, but that's maybe part of my empathy. I know there are people who can't do what I've been doing, and when they don't feel that they have any other options, that drives them to greater despair. Which is why we get into talks about like how are the loneliness levels from the pandemic? Like there are people around the world who felt more isolated, and they feel bad that they've missed out on social events that have been canceled because you just can't. Oh, my character is dying because I have no protection. Um, yeah, I probably did just miss the exact spot. Also, hey there, JWB Killer 5. Yeah, I kind of forget. It's been so long since I've been swapping around. Oh, yeah. So there's an example. That's an example of like specifically missing the specifics. Also, because again, streamer brain, while rambling about horrible, other horrible things. But yeah, good on you. Let's pretend I didn't waste all my time getting irradiated in there while rambling. Um, but yeah, so all that. So yeah, Chris. Yep, overthinking for sure. The pros and cons. If it was a superpower, that would be its natural weakness. I don't need kryptonite. Everybody's your own worst enemy. Um, yeah, just hold yourself in check. Try to be better, but perfectionism obviously can hold you back. It's a complicated thing. But overthinking things, particular, yeah, Chris, relax to avoid it. For sure. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the whole privilege thing, right? Where I say like, oh, I'm kind of OCD. It's like I know I'm not. I know, and if I do, it's like it's the most highly. I don't. If maybe it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn here. Highly functional, if for any of the mental issues that we do have. But that's the empathy where like I know there are people who can't handle this, and knowing that there's so many people who are suffering worse, which is why we want things to be better, and it feels bad when they don't get better. Uh. Nice. Okay. I forget. I should probably just get out of here because you're not supposed to stick around with no protection like this. I don't think there's anything else in here, but I know that there's a few boxes. Or two. Oh, wait, is there? Hey. Oh, that's the bread. Oh, shit. I don't have a container. Whoops. Ugh, God damn it. See, like, I am, a lot of this stuff that is real time, requiring quick responses, it probably took a bunch of rads I didn't need to there. That's okay. You know, I save scum so often that I'll probably do so to my benefit later on anyways. Just drink some vodka, comrade. You solve all problem. Stereotypical. Boris. Okay. Oh, I guess he went back. Ah, yeah, because I completed that bit. Anyhow. Oh, right. Oh, yeah! Huh. I kind of forgot. Yeah, it's been so long. But yeah, missing stuff. No, correct. Yeah, that, Chris. But yeah. I totally forget. Yeah, usually when I'm playing single player, I have the time to mouse over things. It's like, oh, that's super bad. Yeah. When I played this on other accounts, I know it's a super bad deal from him, but just to get it out of there. Yeah, I know there's that bread, and then the one I found the most was like this death flower thing, which even if you put it inside of a... Ooh! Even if you put it inside of a lead container that supposedly keeps all radiation out, it will still, like, irradiate you with a couple rads per second, which is, you know, a cool, like, in-game way of saying, like, it's really bad. Yeah, for sure. Good to just turn that into money. So all that stuff, the bread, Chris. Yeah, stricter face of rant, no backseat gaming rules still enforced. I guess I've kind of moved on from that, mostly. I guess the issue is that, this in particular is not a story-based game. There is a story, but that's not why I'm here. Mostly here for the moment-to-moment gameplay. I guess my old policy was still about, like, I don't like being ordered... As long as it's not, like, being ordered around, right? It's kind of like that comment about, like... I guess, like, what JWB Killer said. Like, you're meant to ignore the bread. And stuff like that. It's like, oh, right, I should because of this. And stuff. Instead of him commenting, like, JWB Killer is saying, like, Martin, you're an idiot. Drop the bread. It's irradiating you. Do it, do it, do it. Right? Like, the difference between an order versus, like, that was before... versus information is like, oh, you're right. I'm being dumb. And stuff. It felt different than, yeah, straight up order. It's such a... I know it's such a weird distinction, but... Yeah, especially that, and because everything happening 2 years ago, it's just like, I don't really care about it. Basically, as long as anybody's not being a super asshole about it anyways, I don't... Especially, again, from somebody who's spent enough time here, I know you don't mean it like that. It's not going to come across as dickish. So it's like, oh yeah, he's been here a while, it doesn't mean much anyways. Not that your comment doesn't mean anything, but you know what I mean about you meaning anything. Yeah. You know, it's whatever. Okay. Oh, JV. Oh, darn it, right. Yeah, I guess that's what happens when I don't read the giant text from the tutorial as well. That makes sense, too. You're supposed to ignore the bread. He tells you to. That's the danger. That's where, as a broadcaster, you are supposed to do all your fun voices. I voice every character. He's okay. But yeah, a lot of this is lore explanations of, like, why are you here? What do you do here? He runs this village. It's a place to be. He's kind of an asshole because he doesn't give you a good deal on a lot of equipment, but he's kind of the best supplier that you have, so you kind of have to go through him anyways. Is this a commentary on monopolies and taking advantage of those who are in need? Let's not get into it. Yeah, it's fine. But for sure, this is a lot of stuff if you want to. It's maybe not always conducive to streaming because why are you here? For cool science fiction stuff, but for sure. It's like your stuff, supply lines, get rich, quest lines. Like, yeah, you prove you're worth it to me. This is like, and you know, summarizing all reputation grinds in every game. Like, yeah, prove that you can do this. I'll get you better stuff. I'll pay you more for better jobs. And then, of course, the ultimate thing for a guy who is still an asshole at heart, you eventually get strong enough to go to better zones where people will actually pay you better. And then you'll be able to afford to make it to the scientists who will actually pay you a ton more for artifacts because they're scientifically motivated and they have the funding to do so. Of course, something being scientific in the real world, depending on who's in charge, they're just as likely to monetize that because they accept an alternative truth, but I'm not going to get into that again either. But yeah, I think the Anomaly mod kind of integrates some of the base game stuff. Like, you're a random person and you hear these tales of, like, legendary people. Like, here's these other people around the zone, of course, but then, yeah, like the Strelok, the main game characters, like these legendary people who explored areas that you're not supposed to survive in. You're not meant to explore this crazy laboratory or get deep into the zone, or if you really tell your wishes to this science fiction fantastical thing, it will kill you. A lot of stuff like that. Just great. If you want to... finding bodies. Here's a case of, like, I think for all the ones that I've done so far, this does remind me of, like, Fallout 4 or no, or I think it's the Fallout 76, right? No, it was. Oh no, Fallout 4 still had humans and NPCs. It was the Fallout 76, which was like every human is another player. But yeah, I think this, so far, a lot of these missions about you could go find these guys, do you meet up with them, has the Fallout 76 thing of, like, yeah, you go there to find a body. Maybe one of these days, anything that's not like a direct rescue mission, they're usually dead. It's like my last reading before they disappeared. But yeah, they usually make it well known, right? They say, like, the bandits took my friend hostage. Then those guys are usually alive, but everything else, They're pretty much dead on arrival because that is the zone. I don't think I'm strong enough to make it that far. Anyways, so there's all that stuff, and then yeah, old me, business. Some of these, yeah, this is a. I usually don't play around with this because, I mean, I guess with the loners you kind of want to just have as few enemies as possible to grow safely. But yeah, you can kind of pay money to get a little temporary ceasefire with different factions, and from what I tried a little bit in my own games, those few days of peace might get you the time to do a few jobs for that faction, and if you do that right, then maybe they will stop hunting you once the ceasefire is up. They recognize you. That's a useful guy. Kill the rest of the loners, though. Right, maybe I should just sell this. This tends to be... This is really heavy for its weight. I don't really know if I need the gear. I guess in the early game, it's more important that you get rubles, so I probably should have sold that. It's only later where it stops being worth your time to lug it around. And then you would rather have the parts. But yeah, whatever. This guy usually has a couple other quests. Yeah, a lot of the early ones in which you're hunting mutants tends to be pretty okay. Here's some rescue ones. Right. Yeah, this is another usual one. There's a group of bandits. It's probably getting up there in early game difficulty because you have to assault that place, and there's usually like 3 or 4 bandits. So what you can do with some of these escort quests, oh right, is you can drag them around, and they will obviously contribute to your firepower. But of course, you run the risk of any of them dying instantly because that's what Stalker does. And if that happens, then you will take responsibility for their deaths, and your reputation will go down. Again, unlike the real world, you are actually held accountable sometimes. Except for, you know, when you're accomplishing quests. That is one of the funny things about this game, is that quests tend to have a way of solving themselves. A lot of the ones that involve killing mutants or other stalkers, if you leave them alone long enough, eventually the zone will take them, and then you can go back and claim credit. I think there were mods specifically that tried to address this, although it really messes with I think it messed with the AI or something, and I didn't think it was worth the glitches. And I think it makes up for all the times where the game honestly screws you over, so I think I'll call it even. But yes, it is a little weird that you can sometimes just do nothing, and the game will reward you. It's like, well, that guy that I wanted killed is dead because of something else, but you're there, you claimed the quest, so that's fine. But yeah, I could drag these guys over here, fight the bandits, and then come back here, but I'll try to play it sorta as intended. What? Oh yeah, and sometimes it's not even the firepower. Sometimes it's not even the firepower that's the most valuable thing about allied stalkers. The most valuable thing, actually, is that they start shooting at all. So there's so many times that the mutants will just come out of freaking nowhere that it's more valuable that the AI lets you know, yeah, we're in aggro mode right now, and then you can just face your allies, see which direction they're holding the gun, turn that way yourself, and now you're not getting your ass bitten off by a cat. So like, yeah, that's almost more than half the value of some of them. Because honestly, yeah, they suck at aiming sometimes, they'll run in, and obviously if they die, they hurt your reputation, so... But yeah, they are like a detector. For opponents. Training day, a stash, right. That's the other, yeah, that's the whole treasure chest mechanic of this game. Now, the moral implications of stashes is kind of bad. You know, the zone's kind of a lawless place anyhow, but it does feel bad because most of the stashes that you don't find on a dead person. If you just search randomly, you will eventually find stashes, and then you just kind of take the stuff that's in there, but you don't really, but without any kind of name tag. if there was, there would be one in the real world, maybe. Um, but in this game, there is none, so you might be stealing from your own faction. You might be stealing from somebody you actually know if you've made friends with other stalkers in-universe, but we kind of pretend that doesn't matter. And, yeah, sometimes you'll find some amazing stuff. And it's probably safer to assume that it was probably a bandits that just left some stuff there that they couldn't take back to a shop and sell off. And they're coming back for it, and you got there first. But, you know, cool. It's a cool way of, you know, occasionally giving you random gear, tools, component parts. You see... Yeah, all these little random things you can use to repair. Some of them I've started to, like, internalize. Like, that's a decent thing to sell for its weight. And sometimes you don't need it. Some of these things, like, oh, I've taken quests from AI that ask for, like, give me 5 walkie-talkies because my team's going on an adventure and we'll need them. So sometimes I've learned to pick up these things and stash them away so that it saves you time later. So that when somebody asks you for 5 walkie-talkies, you don't have to go out and find 5 of them randomly. It's like, oh, I'll be right back. You go to your stash, pick up 5 walkie-talkies, and turn it in 5 minutes later. That's a lot better than, okay, stay right there, try to survive for like a week while I find walkie-talkies. But the problem is if a quest giver, if you accept a quest from somebody and they die while you're trying to complete it, I'm pretty sure you take like a reputation hit to that faction because you have failed, I think. So that's kind of the catch-22 maybe of like, don't accept a quest, or not, I don't know if it's no, catch-22 is like when something stops you from fixing it or from doing the thing that would solve a problem. You can't solve a problem because the problem is stopping you from solving the problem, I think. Something like that.
Боюсь ее рассказывать. Мне ее рассказал один ветеран под большим секретом. Но через день он бесследно исчез.
So yeah, it's this silly thing where it's like, it's not my fault that guy I accepted a quest from him and I'm trying to complete it. He just ran into a gunfight and died. Oh yeah, well, you failed that quest, so you're taking the reputation hit. I literally didn't do anything. Too bad, says the game. But, you know, such is life in the zone. But that's okay, which is again why I maybe don't feel so bad safe scumming and doing little things to help myself. So you can see at the bottom left, I think, from what I learned, because just recently, actually, I finally got hit by a controller pretty hard with a mental attack. And so, yeah, the red is like your mental health. In real life, my bar doesn't look that good. No, red's your mental health. And as that goes down, you start to hallucinate more. Your screen starts shaking a lot. And then blue is your actual health, physical health. So, as you get physically injured, that goes down. When your hunger and thirst hits yellow, the icon to the right of my health bar, right now it's showing that I'm lightly, there's a small amount of thirst. Describing the entire internet. Light to moderate thirst. For now. But as soon as that icon hits yellow, then you'll, start taking damage slowly. And, I'm pretty sure it'll eventually kill you, and even if it doesn't kill you, you don't want to be low on health because that wastes medical supplies, or if you wander across an enemy at low health, then you will take one hit and die. So there's that, and if I was to get over encumbered, there would be, I think it's a green bar underneath that, which is invisible right now because I'm carrying a relatively light amount of gear. There would be a green bar that would slowly lower, showing my stamina, which would be, my ability to run, There's certain enemies who lower your stamina with their psychic attacks, and they cause you to like drop your guns and stuff like that. So that's pretty messed up too. So yeah, Chris, yeah, mental health in game. One game with that, always disable it. Yeah, for sure. I totally get the. It depends on how much minutia you want to do, and for sure the early game Stalker has a lot of that, right? Like just now, I'm having to walk around these radioactive zones as soon as the Geiger counter hits. So yeah, the mental health stuff. In a way, it's not. It does feel weird to call it mental health. It may be like side defense or something, because this game isn't like Darkest Dungeon, where it's like, oh, you have to manage your character's mental health, and it's like your character is unhappy and stuff. It's like, no, there's like, you'll find nudie magazines, stuff like that, but they don't actually simulate you needing recreation. But I could see maybe a mod where they would, but yeah, I certainly don't do that either. But yeah, like some aspects of the game will literally drive your character crazy, if not you, the player. And but yeah, those are the main things you keep track of. Whew. But yeah, like 9 times out of maybe 95 times, 95% of the time, the way that Stalker kills you is through your physical health. Okay, so whenever I've done this quest, usually the bandits are in that building over there, past this entry gate. There's a building past that. Okay, well, here's where we address. It's kind of like the Binding of Isaac. You can obviously play Stalker to role play, like, I'm an adventurer in Chernobyl disaster. Oh, I'm gonna explore, and I'm the newbie. I'm a loner, and this guy, all those guys giving me quests are like teaching you how to survive in the zone. So my character doesn't know how to survive. So the problem is, though, if you've played the game enough, then you start saying things like I did, like, I know the bandits for this quest are usually over there. They might be somewhere else, but they're usually that way. So should that affect the way that I approach this? It's like, you're cheating. Stuff. Even if there's a quest marker here, it's like, where do you expect the enemies to come from will totally change how you engage. Or like, I can show my back this way because I know they're not over there because they're usually this way. Like, is that cheating? Should you spend more time scoping the area out? Oh god! Well... Oh god damn it! Ugh. Panicking. Ugh. It's the FPS problem where like I can't jump over that chest-high wall. It sounds like he's coming from the right. Oh. Ugh. Oh god. Cheeky breaky! He said the thing! Oh god. Medkits take a while to apply. Oh god! Yep, and then you're gonna take a hit while doing it. See, that amount of time until you saw me bring my gun up, that was the medkit application time. So usually they kill you by then, and of course, and even if it didn't kill me, I have now lost as much health as I had when I first applied the medkit. So, that is Stalker. Hey Sidley, hope you're okay. Life is suffering, as is the zone. Where the fuck are you? Got you, bitch. Jesus. This is why I don't play competitive shooters. Call of Duty, you have 0.1 seconds before that other guy shoots you 16 times and you are dead. Wow, that was a fun round. Well, you should have been analyzing the entire map and knowing which way to look. It's like, reaction time. Anyways. But hey, Sidley. Yeah, hope you're okay. And also, hello there, Firestar. Hello, hello. Yeah, Sidley, I know. The game? Life is suffering. Such is life in the zone. That's 3 guys. All I hear is that buzzing or that, anomaly. I think we're good. This is where I get killed in my reload animation. Surprise, 4th person! But yeah, Sidley, hope you're alright. I know it's been a wacky 2 years since my last stream, and I guess like what since TwitchCon. But I know there were other Zeke casts. But yeah, real life, and then real life events of past 2 years, politics, real world news. You know, I wouldn't say I've completely lost hope. I've already rambled about it for the past hour and a half. Oh god! So there was a fourth guy. Is he in the garage? Where the fuck? What? See, and now, like, do I let the game go? Do I... He might be on the second... Well, I don't know. What the heck? Jesus. This is... Okay, so here's where this is, like... this is, as much as they are different games, this is where it's kind of like the old-timey XCOM, right? Where I'd always heard about you're supposed to clear a map of aliens, but you're in like an apartment complex. So now you have to open up every single like room and every single closet, and at every single one of those opportunities, the alien inside might have a reaction shot to just insta-kill whatever XCOM soldier you're spending your turn opening a door, right? So now it's like there's one last bandit who's playing super carefully, and I'm just gonna turn the corner and get shot in the face with his pistol, I think? Sure sounded like it. But yeah, yeah, for sure, a ton of stuff. Yeah, for the VOD. No, it's fine. It was generally... oh god, there he is! You bitch! Fuck! Fuck it! Fuck. See, like, I'm always expecting them to go squirrely, and half the time they are. So, it's like, oh, he's gonna keep moving right, so I'm gonna aim at the right. And then I overcorrect, he keeps going straight, oh, now I move it back to the left, and that's when he goes left. And then it's just like, on top of whatever performance anxiety of like, MLG 360 no-scope, you should have hit that first shot. But, you know, even when I'm playing single player, that's what tends to happen. Which is again why I don't play actual competitive shooters where people are actually intending you to strafe fire. Also account for ping. Also know the travel velocity of every single bullet, how every gun performs, bullet drop, the weather, and whether or not it's a day ending in Y or some stupid bullshit. You rescue yourself? Okay. Anyhow. But yeah, there's all that stuff. Firestar. Yeah, haven't caught a stream. Oh, for sure, yeah. Real life, everybody, I've rambled about it, you know, everybody's gonna move on with their lives. Some people grow in and out of Twitch, spend more time in the real world. Sorry, it's like 1, 2, 3... Did I kill the fourth? Oh, right, no, he was here, right? No. He moved in... I think I had a mod enabled where it showed me the corpses, but maybe that was only with an updated PDA? Kind of forgot. So yeah, Sidley. Yeah, bug, yeah, for sure. Those are... I always love that part of Stalker, where the game is so janky that anytime a glitch happens, people see like, oh, he's just floating into the sky now. It's like, ah, such is life in the zone. Oh yeah, that's a gravity anomaly, yep. The radiation from the Chernobyl disaster caused a localized field where they just kind of fly into the sky. Like, where's your excuse, Bethesda? Yeah, so all that stuff. Yeah, when in doubt, hold W. Yeah, just walk. Just go anywhere. Try to find the bastard. JWB killer. So yeah, Sidley, yeah, Overwatch. Yeah, man, there's so many cool communities and stuff to check out. Like, I mentioned it earlier, Apex, I know, has been getting a lot of attention. Obviously, I don't know the stuff that goes, like, in and out of fads. About like, oh yeah, well the new hotness is actually blank, but you wouldn't know that because you're not part of those communities. That sort of deal. I think there. Oh right, so I already did this. There's a few loot boxes around here. Not the kind I have to open with microtransactions, but actual boxes. Yeah, whatever. Ugh. Okay, Overwatch. Mystery Heroes in the arcade. I don't know enough about the modes, unfortunately, to chime in on that, but it is cool when games offer you alternate modes. Right, like I know in Team Fortress 2, for instance, I was pretty on... Again, I didn't play a whole lot of Team Fortress 2, but I know that they had that mode with, like, man versus machine. So a lot of games where previously the only option was head-to-head competition, meta, Twitch aiming, Twitch reaction time aiming, not the website. When games move past that, it's like, hey, here's a cooperative mode if you don't want to get, you know, super salty about somebody who's just better than you or worrying about cheats and auto-aim or some bullshit like that. It's like, no, it actually feels good to cooperate with community and be happy to see somebody instead of, and I'm instantly dead. It's nice when games offer you alternate modes or something like that. Sorry, darn it. Go back. Yeah, the Mystery Heroes in the arcade, Firestar. Yeah, Call of Duty stressful, nonstop. For sure, yeah, that's the whole deal with, like, merging communities and being, like, I guess the word would be accessible. It's like, oh, keep the community alive. Yeah, but even when new people come in, if they're dropped into the Shark Tank and you're playing, and, you know, if the teams aren't auto-balanced the right way and you're playing against somebody who is so good that they stomp you and you just have a bad time and your only motivation is, oh yeah, well, if you practice one day you'll get to be with them. It's like they're not making it a fun time now, and stuff like that. It's a little annoying to put that onto the individual. It's up to you to make the game fun, to be competitive, and stuff. It's like maybe a better introduction would help. But yeah, nonstop pro players killing you immediately. Yes, so giving you maybe a better learning curve or something. But yeah, Chris, competitive FPS, right? Yeah, you know. Right, there's the studies about, like, as people grow older, do you tend to drop RTSs, you play more turn-based games? Is it just you're lowering reaction times as you get older? It's like, I also just like having the time to interact with chat, for instance, when I play turn-based games. Obviously, I'm pausing right now, so that's like the problem. You can't pause a lot of real-time games, especially if they're online. You're not pausing the match for everybody. So, yeah, it's just maybe one of those things you get as you grow older and find out what works for you. It's all that, Chris. Yeah, I think it's weird if you're better at StarCraft 2, Rocket League. Oh yeah. Yep, Sitley, the genre changing, patience. Oh yeah, okay. The least competitive mode possible in a competitive game. Okay, yeah, that checks out too. Darn it, I'm rambling again. But yeah, anything that tries to change things up, that doesn't stick to a status quo. It's like, you must have fun this way, and if you don't like it, get out. It's like, on some level, it's almost like I can appreciate that principle, right? I've argued the same thing about, like, Darkest Dungeon, except in reverse, right? Where people talk about Darkest Dungeon, like, I don't like this corpse mechanic, I don't like blank. It's like, and then they finally gave them options to turn it off. I kind of get that, but oh, is it inside? I guess I also have it set to create random anomalies sometimes after emissions. But yeah, for something like Darkest Dungeon, it's times where I appreciate what the developer's intentions are, and sometimes it's good to not run away from that. But it is also cool when developers are able to think outside the box and say, hey, you know what? Maybe for the people who aren't super great at this other thing, let's find a way to include them without dumbing it down for everybody. Just more options are good. With all that stuff, so JWB... Oh, okay, right. Just walking into there when you're looking at chat. But yeah, Team Fortress 2 played a lot. It's great, and, you know, again, the accessibility talk regarding, like, free-to-play games. Here, there's no entry fee, which unfortunately sometimes mean you play with immature kids and hurtful people who, again, since they don't have to drop any money on it, it costs them nothing to go in and ruin people's times. But, you know, again, that sometimes you just know that's going to happen regardless. that doesn't make it okay, but you just maybe that's a fact of life, something stupid, all that stuff. Yeah, Chris, doing all right. Disagree. Oh, right, for sure. I don't mean like it's guaranteed for anybody. It's like once you reach this age, you will always prefer this genre and stuff. But it's just like it's interesting to think about those studies about like for some people they always like action games with quick or like those Devil May Cry quick combo games, things where you're running things like past 60 frames per second, and those people truly can see the difference and stuff, and that's really cool. But then like there's the people who don't do that, and so it's not that one form of fun is legitimate and one is not. It's just that, yeah, you always wonder how many people will stick to that down that path, and how many differentiate. But it is still cool, and for sure, I'm still playing Dawn of War 2 Retribution, the Elite mod. Like, some RTS, still playing some real-time strategy games. Obviously, I'm playing things like this where I get shot from the back immediately, even as I complained about Call of Duty, so I'm not against that either. Right, I should go back before this guy dies to something. There's all that. Oh, darn it. Falling behind on chat again, that's what I do. But all that. Also, hey, Crush Gaming, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm rambling, as I do. So Sitley... Oh, I mean, yeah, Crush, hope you're doing okay. I've rambled a ton about how the last 2 years have been. Sitley, Mystery Heroes, everybody gets a random hero. Oh, cool, yeah. I like a gun game, but for heroes, or, something like that. Hero upon death, people ultra competitive. Yeah, it makes sense, because you might suddenly get something you're not used to, or not meta for you. So Firestar, balancing, integrity, accessibility, exemplifying Firestar, for sure. So all that stuff. Chris, StarCraft 2, co-op mode. Right, that, and then the whole, arcade and custom game mode. It's like, oh, well, it's not even an RTS anymore. It's like, right, but the custom games give you so much creativity. It's like, suddenly this RTS... I mean, well, obviously we have the whole Defense of the Ancients thing. Something that starts out as an RTS breeds an entirely new genre of like, hey, how about if you wanted to control a hero, and then the entire map is controlled by AI, and then you have these team versus team things. It's just... that creativity can create, yeah, so much, an entire industry spawns from that. And again, I don't have to play a lot of MOBAs to still get some of the appeal. And so, yeah, it is cool that this alternative mode of fun came out. Let me see. Yeah, co-ops, all that stuff, the ladder. Also, hey, Draco Mage, hello, hello, been forever. Yeah, been away for a while. I think you were here when I was rambling to Crush about, again, 2 years. There's a lot that's been going on real life and, real world events and stuff like that. Yeah, I know, Crush. Yeah, I'm consistent. At least, unless we're joking about like how I ramble the same way I was back then. Right, I was joking about how like, yeah, if I came back and I'm suddenly a different personality entirely, Martin, you've really changed. But yeah, nope, still, I think I'm mostly the same inside. If anything, everything is inside of me has been like amplified because the world has continued on the same path I saw before, and a lack of change. Right? Are we gonna quote the Far Cry guy again? Insanity, trying the same thing over and over, and then the news is gonna say, "Who could have seen this coming?" And then everybody says, "Yeah, we did." But every time we propose a solution, we get called crazy. But I guess that's the way the world's just gonna be. Ugh. But yeah, silly, free-to-play stuff. Oh, right. I think that was... Sorry, this is what happens when I rant for so long. I'm losing context. So I think that was about the entry fee. People, like, trolling. Like, for sure, there will always be some... there will be assholes everywhere. It's just a matter of how different communities deal with it. And sometimes it'll be a difference in the fraction of the community that will be there. Because of no barrier of entry. But for sure. Yeah, Oculus Arena. Yeah. All that. Oh, okay. A different mode for that. Whew. Draco Mage. Oh, you might have just missed that rant. Yeah. No, it is just about, like, right? All I have to say is, like, well, if I haven't been here since, again, I checked my stream analytics and it said my last stream was February 2019. So obviously, coronavirus jokes, like, there's been a lot going on. Uh, Trying not to give in to total despair about, like, who could have seen this coming? How do we deal with it? Oh, we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. For some reason, the economy isn't doing well, but we're going to open up now, even though we haven't done the safety precautions for people. We've got 50 states, and a ton of them have different reactions because we don't have a unified national response. Maybe things are a little bit better now, and we've got somebody in office who's better. I mean, that logic doesn't always work, because I could say that I'm... Like, if one of you guys needed surgery, and it's like, hey, Martin can do it. Well, I thought, wouldn't you guys want an actual surgeon? Hey, Martin's better than that inanimate object over there. Well, yeah, that is technically true. I'm glad we don't have the inanimate object doing the surgery anymore. We could have voted in an actual surgeon, though, right? Hey, you should be happy that you have Martin doing your surgery, and then I'm standing over there going, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Can we ask for something better? No! I can't believe you... Ugh, you're saying both sides. It's like, that's not what I'm saying. But, you know, things are back to normal now, right, guys? It's just like, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that whole rant again, but, yeah. So, for sure, Firestar, exactly. See, this is the thing I talk about, right? Like, I don't have to know somebody personally to just know through empathy. It's like, yeah, there are real lives attached to this stuff. So even before Firestar is saying, like, yeah, I'm in Texas, they're thinking about that. That's kind of, yeah, without going too deep into, like, let me do a news dump, and here's all the links in chat. Here are real articles. I'm going to turn this into a TED Talk. I'm going to shut the game down. This is now just talking stream. So, like, right, even before that, it's like, I know that there are better ways to go about this, and there's a lot of people who want things to go back to normal, but they're not willing to take the steps to start doing that either. But, yeah, like, it's like I don't need to have seen your screen name to feel bad for people, and that's and maybe part of why we got here is that whole element of not just internet anonymity, but the way we treat everybody, right? Here's a real world example. If I was driving around, I'm saying this like a hypothetical. When I was driving around with my mother, we just randomly stopped by to get fast food. And, you know, at one point she just says, like, it looks like the person working the drive-through window, he's working the cash register at the front as well. And then he's turning around and he's bagging the stuff, and then he's going to us to count the change and stuff. It's like, he looks like he's doing like 3 jobs. And I just kind of elbow her, and I was like, yeah, a lot of people are being overworked and underpaid. We just move on with our lives because it's considered normal. It's like, and I'm looking, and that was back when my mother was saying, like, Martin, or get a normal job, stop doing all this Twitch stuff, you're wasting your time on the internet. And it's like, some element of that is true. I'm not expecting to make it big like a pro athlete. Not everybody immediately becomes financially solvent. I don't know the words, whatever, but you know what I'm getting at. It's just like, have realistic expectations for what you want to do, and you're going to need to pay your way through things. But then I say things like, but Mom, you know that some people only do this stuff because they're desperate and they don't have anything else. They don't think they have other options. And part of the problem is, like, right, there's the minimum wage stuff. Are you being compensated? Do you have benefits? What's the purpose of money in the first place? Well, it's to pay your bills. Right, so are all of these bills truly just that this is how much it costs for us to maintain this stuff? Oh, well then it makes sense while we use it to help you out. Because you're providing for us, we'll provide for you. I'm not saying nobody deserves compensation for the things, like, it's a free ride for everybody. It's no, but you have to imagine when I say something like insulin, where it's like, oh, the cost is actually pretty low, but in the United States, it's really high to purchase. So clearly some of that is profit, and it didn't need to be that high. Right, it's like, imagine that, but for everything we do. I'm not about to go over everybody's checkbooks for the cost of maintaining property. I'm obviously not a handyman, so it's not like I'm gonna say it's really easy to take care of plumbing, electricity, and stuff for a bunch of tenants. Like, a landlord could legitimately charge you for stuff. But I just don't know if it's supposed to be this high when things don't keep up with their wages and inflation and we're having that same conversation over and over. We're worrying about if we can even get it started. Do we ask for more? It's just madness. And then, and just like, but yeah, we're supposed to just see that and just like, hey, thanks for handling my fast food, and then we drove away. And I think like, Mom, take that person, but like we're driving past all these businesses, every single person in these other cars on the street. It's like we're just seeing people go by, and we don't think about the rest of their lives, and they're all trying to do the same things we're doing. But yeah, so I know that's why I'm not. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm ranting about that. For sure. Um, so the hope is that take that worry as well, and then you apply it to things like climate change, where it's like, sure, it's certainly perfection is the opponent of good, and I'm not going to completely say nothing new is worth doing. And if it's not perfect, I won't accept it and stuff. But I do worry about like the more we keep pushing things down the line, like, well, we don't have to do the most drastic thing. It's like, okay, so once more of the ice caps melt and more glaciers break off and more of our arable farmland irreversibly goes non-arable, and rising sea levels, and property values continue, right? Like, that's the thing. That's where, like, okay, I am happy we have somebody better now, but if they don't promise to do something more than what's considered normal, then we are going to eventually hit that, right? That's why I ranted about it earlier, Sidley. See, that's, again, I don't want to say, like, you're not worth talking to right now, but it's like, no, that was part of it. It's like, if every new article that comes out about, like, hey, it looks like the new generations of people aren't having that many kids, although that's an entirely other discussion to be had about the population density of humanity and how much the planet can actually support without us utilizing industry supported farmland, right? Things like fossil fuels and stuff. And stuff like, I really fear for the day where we hit the breaking point where, oh, yeah, we can't sustainably live this way any longer. There is a population of people who are not going to have a place to live. They are not going to have food and water and stuff like that. What happens to the excess population? Well, if we look at the animal world, yeah, like what happens then is a bunch of people die off. And, obviously if we reach that point, it's going to be an ugly question of like, who's the elites who are going to get the resources and who will not and stuff. And so obviously it's actually good that a lot of people don't decide to have kids and stuff, but it also feels bad for the people who do want to have kids but understand about the population issue, like myself. I feel like this is why I say things like I identify with certain characters who like dream, and from like fiction, who dream of having a better life but they know it's not possible, maybe. And then the whole aspect of like becoming a wizard, you're gonna die alone, like, ha ha ha, how do you deal with this existential nightmare? And the coronavirus dating scene and stuff. Like, I want a family one day. Maybe I don't need the classic American dream of property and white picket fence suburbs and stuff. It doesn't have to be that, but I'm the longer this goes, and I doubt like I'm ever gonna have anything close to my idea of happiness and a normal job. What constitutes a normal job? The one that I'm gonna go to in like 2 hours, and stuff, right? Like, that's the thing that makes me lose some more hope and stuff. It's like, okay, and then we need to understand how our population works, how we take care of people. But yeah, we're not doing that very well. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind because I'm ranting, and I was just like wandering around in the fucking game too. Sorry. But yes, the office stuff, that, yeah, it was Texas, the mask stuff, and then Chris with, yeah, don't, not just shitty rant. Yeah, I want to play Stalker for sure. Yeah, doing stuff. Yeah, I talked about the privilege, right? About having a platform to talk about this stuff, spread awareness. I'm not quite stuck in the daily grind, but that's the other fear I talk about. There's a lot of people who don't have a choice to they don't have, that's the danger of like minimum wage and all this other paying the bills and stuff. Those people, and I'm feeling it too, go to work, tired, they go home, take care of their errands themselves, have a little fun, go to bed, do it all over again, right? And then like try to make time for voting, try to make time to be informed. It's like at some point, if you cut enough time out of your day, you're not going to be able to do everything but take care of yourself, and that's when people become ignorant. start supporting things that are against their own self-interest. That's how we got to where we are now. That's the fear about like you're being responsible, but there are tons of people I talk to, and I can only talk to them because I've had the free time to look up stuff on the internet. Yes, some of it is also false, and that requires so much sourcing, double checking, and stuff. But like when I bring up something new and they'd never thought about it before, that's scary because these people vote. They go about their daily lives and they think that's normal because that's the only life they've ever known. And then yeah, that's where Sidley's saying like the frog boiling. It's like I don't know. If we're in like a Truman Show Matrix situation, everybody thinks this is normal and everything's going back to normal because things are better, legitimately, but is it good enough? It's like, well, that's progress. You take baby steps, you take increments. Right, but if it's not drastic enough, we might just slide back. And then then people are only worried once the world is actually on fire, instead of all of us who are screaming like, hey, let's stop it before the world goes on fire, before the accident happens. And then we don't just say, 500,000 dead, probably closer to 600,000 or more. Such a tragedy. Well, they would have wanted us to live on and be happy. Anyhow, hello there, Colorstone. Hello, hello. Yeah, sad thing, individuals believe. Right, exactly. That's the individual versus collective group action of like, let's hold everybody accountable. Right, because you multiply it by billions, it actually magnifies the effect. But we can also look at like a few key corporations and the large entities. It's like, if we just hold them accountable, then it would also make up for millions upon billions of people. Because the average person isn't causing an oil spill. The average person isn't taking advantage of tribes of people who don't have any other options, or hire child workers, or create death camps. It's just like crazy stuff. It's like, for sure, it's good to do things on any level, and you feel like you're contributing. But we also need a big drastic change in the way things are sometimes, and I don't know if we can do that because of the way our representation works, because they've bribed our politicians, some of the good ones, some of the air quotes good ones. So yeah, Firestar, us Texans, right, all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's why I tweeted it out, Firestar, about like the governor berating people asking for help. I was joking about like, things are kind of bad when you're living out like a Frostpunk scenario and one of your politicians is tweeting out or posting the lyrics to Metal Gear Rising Revengeance's like Rules of Nature, or that one Breaking Benjamin song, Blow Me Away. Only the strongest will survive. Right? Like all these edgy rock songs about like rules of nature. It's like, I thought we humans put together society so we wouldn't do that, and we aren't just picking nuts and berries and then getting massacred by saber-toothed tigers, but I guess we're not doing that anymore. But yeah, Colorstone, yep, the giant corporations, businesses, destroying the earth, for sure. See, I'm glad, it's kind of cool when I read one comment at a time, and then I ramble, and then I see, yes, we were on the same page, and I didn't have to, extrapolate from your comment, because that shows that, yeah, we came to that conclusion on our own, and stuff. It's just great, but I mean, it's great about how terrible it is that we have to say this. Sorry. Sidley, yeah, the headline. But yeah, all the young people stuff, right. And then that's where I saw articles about like, hey, it looks like there's a bunch of young people who moved back in with their parents. And that's where I get into rambling about, like, this is considered traditionally loser talk. I remember a time when my family would say things like, oh yeah, look, there's a movie or a TV character, they dropped out of college and stuff. It's like, now it's like, I've done the same. I was pushed into it because I was trying to impress my family. That's not what I want to do with my life. There's the entire talk about the education cost in the United States, pushing high schoolers who don't know what they want to do with their lives into investing, taking out loans, and spending all this money on something they have no idea what they want to do with. And even if they do want to do something with it, that does not guarantee them a job in that major, and it might not even be enough to pay off their loan in the first place, right? We get into talks about teachers, all these other essential workers, who don't get compensated for how important they are in relation to like the furthering of society. Like, hey, teachers, you're bringing up the next generation of humanity. Yeah, how about you pay for all your own stuff and you're not compensated that well? And then we get into a whole other talk about like what compensation should be, or it's like, how about you just make sure everybody has a living wage and they can live comfortably? And then there's a few bits of like luxuries and extra stuff that people can work towards. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. This is what's important to me, but I know I'm gonna get back to the killing of monsters in the game. Oh gosh, rather than addressing them in the real world, right? But yeah, privatization, deregulation. Yep. It's like technically exact, and then there's the nuance there of like technically centralized power and stuff like that. Sometimes you almost imagine it would work if you had the right people in power, but the problem is that's usually not the case. We don't have good vetting, and obviously there's people who use it for connections and stuff. But right, it's kind of like when I use the example a lot of how I was a Twitch. I am. I say I was though because I again real life. But like I am a Twitch mod, and when I am a mod, I don't just ban everybody that I disagree with. I usually look like, what's the context? What's important here? And then I use my power well. So what I've done with getting into shows like My Hero Academia and stuff like that, and obviously uh, all sorts of fiction involving what do people do with power and corruption. It's like it doesn't always matter who has more power. Oh, that person's a mutant in X-Men. They are clearly trying to kill everybody else. It's like, yeah, but you can use your powers for good, and there are people who use powers for evil. There are plenty of people who have low amounts of power and still want to hurt others and stuff like that. It's just in both cases, we're just not taking care of the people who have bad intentions. And obviously, things like human intention is very complicated too, but that's why I say things like, yeah, but there's the most blatant people that we still can't handle, and we can barely convict them, if at all. Impeachment. But Martin, he got impeached. Yeah, what happened to that one? Oh, acquitted? Yeah, cool, 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 cool. So I don't, yeah, like this is not providing hope for the population, but all that stuff, right? Cost exactly like that's the thing. A lot of people say like you can still be rich. There are still people who would handle this stuff, and the elites, and we would be kind of okay with them being rich, but like obscenely rich. Did you need to make that much of a profit? It's so weird because people, right? If I was gonna play another game, it's like a business sim. Even if I was role playing as like the evil person, the whole idea of like, yeah, but you need people alive to rule over and stuff. Otherwise, if they all die, you will be the ruler of nothing. Stuff like that. Like it's like they're not even thinking that far ahead. Be greedy on some level. That's human nature probably. But like think far ahead enough that you need to take care of enough people to take advantage of, right? We shouldn't be encouraging them to take advantage of everyone, but they're not planning that far. It's like they are only thinking in terms of like, it's almost like they are just there to create suffering, and that's kind of, they're proving that. Oh god. But yeah, Colorstone, yeah, all that stuff. Sidley. Yeah. I know, talk overlays and stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of people survive for sure. Yeah, no free time. I've said it, just like that's why I picked up on it so much when I was a mod in different Twitch channels. It's like I'm gonna read chat and like, oh, say hello to people. That sounds innocent and friendly enough, right? But no, people in chat will come in and say, "Hi, I had a bad day at work," or "I got sick," or "I'm worried about this thing." But your Twitch stream and your fun games always take my mind off of my shitty life. They don't say that last part usually, but they usually it's fun and stuff. It's like I interpret from that like, yeah, there are people who only have enough time for the bare minimum sometimes, and there are a lot of people who don't make it to those Twitch chats who are even worse off. So that's a case of survivorship bias, right? The worst people have disappeared off of Twitch entirely and gone, homeless, right? They sold off their electronics, like a computer or something to hang out. We are not going to see them. If some of you guys wonder where they are, where some screen names you might have seen before are, and they're not here anymore, yeah, it doesn't matter. They're like most of them are real people. Again, bot stuff, stuff about like bots and just troll accounts, but oh god. But yeah, Colorstone, worry about the world for sure. Yeah, that's the aspect of like selfishness where it's like, yeah, they were forced into that. There are people with the means who are able to take care of themselves and they're still assholes, but there are a lot of people who don't have the choice anymore. Oh yeah, Chris. Hey, I go to work. Hate to run errands. Yeah, all that stuff. Chris. Yeah, the wild stuff for sure. Yeah, right. And and that's where like I had my awakening during like high school, I think, because I was starting to get asked like, "What do you want your future to be?" And like, things outside of this fun gaming community stuff. Like things are getting shitty, and that's where I acknowledged that. And this is where the self-analysis is important, where I don't hide from my past of like, yeah, like in a way, I only cared about this stuff once it affected me, which on like a basic level means like that's it's a self-absorbed asshole thing. It's like sure, but that's part of maturing and seeing that there's more to the world than yourself. And it's like I can acknowledge that, and I've moved on and stuff. And like, oh, they're all just like me. All these other people on Twitch. And then I started thinking about like, and that's the logical fallacy of yeah, and the people you don't see on the internet are people who can't afford technology or the internet connection or the electricity to hang out with the free time again. It's like yeah, it's things like that. You don't know what you don't know, right? Um, as a value of higher learning and stuff. So yeah, Chris, history, anthropology, yep, for sure. All that stuff, color storm, right? Yep, for a long time, and it's just a matter of when you're aware of it, for sure. Postmodern, yeah, Chris, the Twitch mod stuff, yeah, time frame. Chris, I'm the only one you know from just in TV. Gee, yeah. I mean, man's been recently talking right about how burnt out. Like I used to love streaming and stuff, and people and like I almost feel compelled, but I didn't respond about like, yeah, man, you're burning out, and I think a lot of it has to do with again the collapse of fake it till you make it, the facade of social propriety. Like, hi there, how's the weather? It's good. I'm doing okay. So am I. Well, see you tomorrow. Right? Like, I feel like that's collapsing as society continues to collapse and we don't take care of the world and the people. So yeah, like I wonder how many people are going through this sort of burnout. And if you bring it up with your job at your with your boss, they're only going to say just like, oh well, mindfulness. How about you? Did you try meditating? Just take care of that. Anyways, we're going to hold you to the same quotas and stuff like that, and then we're going to wonder why your mental health isn't doing so great. Who could have foreseen this? Anyways, enough about my day job and everybody's day jobs, but yeah. But all people from there. Also, hello there, Nate Wash. Interesting talk. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm scaring off what few people might be here for the game, and just, I guess it's good. Again, it's always good to get a touch of the broadcaster's personality, so that it's like, oh, they're only here for the game. So as soon as I swap over, it's not like I've lost any real fans because they were only there for Stalker anyway. So it's but I still do want to get back to it. But there's all that. Yeah, old accounts. Yep, there's a lot of people. Sometimes, again, so yeah, some people stick around, some people can't. Yeah, ranting. For sure, right. And the whole problem of like, yeah, I got like 2 years to get off of my chest. Although I'm sure I'm going to ramble again later. Yeah, 70% 30. So Draco Mage. Only 2 years feels like longer. Yeah, yeah, according to the stream analytics, the last stream was like 3 hours in February 2019. It's been a long time. And then of course we talk about like time flies when you're having fun, and it's like sometimes time crawls when you're miserable, I guess. Yeah, the whole VOD stuff, Draco, right? The whole Twitch DMCA thing, that whole deal, right? Like I'm not even gonna get into that drama because of like digital policy, game copyrights, music copyrights, and so all the broadcasters like tried to make some quick highlights, saved their VODs to their drives, some uploaded to YouTube. So it's yeah, as far as like VODs and clips, I'm sure that whole deal's been crazy too. So yes, Italy. Yeah, man, doing stuff right, right. That's why he's still casting. It's just like when he tweets about like, I don't know, I'm trying to get myself hyped up again. It's like, I wonder. I mean, people change, but also on top of that, like I hope it's not like a projection, right? Like these other aspects of my life are shitty, and now I feel shitty even in my off time, because of that, right? That it's like depression, I guess. When people say like in depression, like something that used to bring them joy doesn't anymore, um, and stuff like that. It's like it kind of makes sense when, yeah, you don't get any pleasure from something that you expected to enjoy, and it's like, is he really out of love with streaming? Is it just the games and stuff, or is it just everything, all the support system failing? But yeah, for sure. I'm sure. I mean, it could be a mix of both, right? Like because you just burn yourself out on something that used to be new and fun. But yeah, he's doing his own thing. But yeah, Chris. Yeah, exactly. See, there's Chris going on about the Twitch policies, all that. Yeah, I never really saved all that stuff. Yeah, the new playlist I made, uh, was, I spent a couple of streams. Well, no, not streams. I spent a couple evenings where I maybe could have been streaming, but I spent like 16 maybe hours where, where I went through my entire playlist of like 3,330 songs according to Fubar here, and I went down like by artist and albums and stuff like that, and I just started googling, going on Twitter about like, hey, has this artist ever said anything about like, hey, you can play my music on Twitch and stuff like that, and just like that alone, versus somebody who was actually doing it for a job and going through VODs and stuff. Yeah, like that many hours, so tedious. Even when I was listening to stuff in the background to have fun, to create a notepad full of like, here's a link to a Twitter post they made that says it's okay. Here's where their game company said to link their Bandcamp. Blah, blah, blah. This is like that level of being a responsible adult to deal with legal bullshit. So like, yeah, it's got to be crazy. And I'm now down to, only 1,218 songs and stuff like that. But that's just using my existing playlist. And for sure, I know that there's stuff like people were throwing words like pretzel around. There was that VOD audio soundtrack by Twitch thing, but again, that's kind of like generic music. And there's a whole, you're right, there's so many different licensing things you could do. And obviously, I'm not a full-time streamer. I don't. So I mean, it's not like I don't know if I could classify this as purely commercial, as well as running ads. But because of my weird not money making thing I'm doing here, but I still want that at some point, but I'm not. I just ended up, just trying to find out confirmation myself. Gosh darn it. But yeah, that's why there's only a few clips, basically. But yeah, Sid Lee, man doing whatever he wants. Yeah, more power to him, all that. Chris. Yeah, Yakuza into the breach. Nate Wash, verified chat. Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, at some point, I'm not saying that's like off the table, and I kind of hate it. It's just but the idea of like, once you reach a certain critical mass of community size, it sucks that you will not be able to. I mean, clearly, even now, I'm not able to keep up with chat. So imagine what it must be like for somebody who wants to interact with people, but they have literal hundreds of people chiming in. They will not be able to do that. That's where you have slow mode. That's where you have followers only, verified chat. I don't know if I'd ever really cross into subscribers only, but like clearly you reach a point where you get infamous enough. You have troll accounts. That's not really fair either. But I don't know. It just sucks. That's how far you might have to go. But again, everybody has their personal limits on that. But it does feel good to have a close connection with people, but therein lies the problem. I can't do this monetarily. If I brought this up, I could not support myself with it. Therefore, real life has dictated this is not worth doing. You don't matter. I hate that. The world's a cruel place. But yeah, so all that stuff. Yeah, the Sitley link. I don't know if I should purge that. I think it just didn't load that weird page thing, so I guess it's fine. So that, a specific term for that kind of depression, Sitley. Colorstone. Oh, not knowing my name, figured I was new to Anomaly. No, I played it. Yeah, I played it a bunch off stream, and it's more about me working up the energy and motivation with all the shitty things going around to try to stream something. And I'm kind of failing at that because I'm rambling now and not playing the game. I'm sorry, Chris. But yeah, not being around. Sidley, depression. That word, depression diagnosis. It's interesting finding out these terms for ideas that you've had. Colorstone algorithms, Twitch music card thing. I'll try to keep that open. I'll just open that for later. Like a big word that came up across the quarantining with the coronavirus stuff was like the Asian term for like bedtime revenge procrastination or whatever. I might be saying that in the wrong order, but those words, I think. And yeah, I'd been doing that for years. with my parents talking about like, oh, you got to look for a real job. This is bad. Stop playing video games. It's distracting you. And then the more they hide it, the more they tell you not to do it, the more you want to do it because now you don't feel like you have a place to go back to feel comfortable and be yourself after a long day stuff. So now you start hiding. That's when kids, play video games under the covers of their blankets in their bedroom. Pull out the Game Boy or they pull out their phone, right? Or you get up in the middle of the night when your family's not there to hover over you and say, that's not allowed. You don't get to be yourself. So, like, yeah, people who lost control of their daily lives and they feel like they want to gain it back by staying up late. They get to do their own thing now. Your boss isn't there. It's just you lose sleep. And that's not healthy for you either. But is it your mental health or your physical health? It's basically condensing what I already said about video games, right? You play video games where it's almost like a puzzle. You do the right thing. The game recognizes that you did that. You are rewarded and stuff. That's a thing a lot of people don't get from their daily lives, and that's why people sometimes play games. It's not just for the challenge. It can be both, but yeah, people, it just feels good to feel like you have some kind of control. Is it healthy that it might be like an illusion? Like, kind of, but we know that. It's just, it gives people some hope. It's like, yes, somebody on the planet understands me. Yeah, again, that's why I say things like, I see people in chat come in and say, like, I'm glad this community's here. It makes me get away from my shitty daily work and stuff. And so that's what I want to be, and I understand, and I feel this empathy for everybody. But yeah, silly, yeah, that list, individual permissions of artists. Yeah, there were different artists and stuff. There were different lists as well. Some people compiled, and the problem was, again, like, some of those artists were not in my playlist and stuff. And it's this weird thing where it's like, like, I knew that, like, Popski came up in, like, a Reddit discussion about, like, hey, link some artists whose music you're able to use and stuff. And it's like, it's cool, but if I'm not into their playlist, then they wouldn't be on mine anyways, even though it's better than having no music. Yeah, that's why I kind of, it's such a complicated thing, and obviously legality is such a deeper issue because you want to support musicians anyways. So, but yeah, so the links are down there. uh, but yeah, it can be tough because it's not like this is 100% everybody. Something like standardized. But yeah, company owning music. Yeah, that's true as well. Artists. Yeah, that's why sometimes it was nice when it matched up with like, oh, we allow this stuff from the game and we have the permission of the artist if possible. But yeah, Chris. 3 hour project, friends. Oh, geez, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. There were a lot of the posts that came up were about like, this is a Twitch radio show, so it's specifically like almost monetizing the artist's music. So yeah, that's almost like an entire other level of getting the okay. Because yeah, at least if with a stream you can use the excuse of like it's in the background or I add on to it because it's not my specific intro or it's not iconic of me. It's just there and then I turn on to the game. But yeah, like that's another wrinkle in the equation. Fixing play. Oh yeah, that must be horrible. Fixing playlist, checking it. But yeah, silly. All right, for sure. I'm definitely out of practice as well. Of course, again, it's the mix of the issues because I'm out of practice and these are legitimately nuanced issues where I can't just say, yep, nope, well, I'm glad we talked that topic over, right? Like, there were topics way before when I was in good practice where I would also ramble for 30 minutes because these are legitimate issues that if it was so easy to solve, they wouldn't be problems, right? So clearly I'm not offering the solutions in 30 minutes, but yeah, these kinds of discussions are almost par for the course. So all that stuff, yeah, Chris, for sure. Getting in practice, usually, very true. Oh, right, that was about something else I was bringing up. But yeah, silly. Right, for sure. Right, that's what I mean. I meant with the illusion, real-world effects. Yeah, there's like there's talks about like placebo effects and stuff, but of course there's the fine line between like fantasy and reality. And obviously we're not pretending the video games are real, right? Gamers rise up, but yeah, for sure, like that's where we get into stuff with like escapism, right? Where it's everything in moderation and stuff, but where I withdraw upon myself, become more anxious and introverted, and video games become my only solace because they're the only place I feel good. Right, like that has its own dangers, I realize. So that's what I meant. But yeah, of course, for the vast majority, it's good to just have a hobby. have a healthy outlet. But yeah, like if nothing else changes, we are going to hit the wall where like yeah, there's that's why people do drugs and stuff, right? There are people who don't feel like they have other options. The only escape is some quick consumable thing driving you to drugs, alcohol. It's like I don't do those, but I get why people do. I just happen to play video games. It has the same capacity for like taking over my life. But all that stuff. Silly. Oh, okay, there's a good selection. Yeah, that's why I'll check it out. And again, it's like I spent so many hours on it already. A couple more shouldn't hurt, but we'll see if it matches up. So yeah, Chris, few VODs, still having. Oh, the Fallout 3 Hotline Miami groin punch. Ah, that was classic. Oh shit, did they remove that? I only checked out a couple of the clips, but it would make sense if they removed that. If it was auto removed. Okay, holy shit, I'm at the bottom, but yeah, everybody who wants to get back to the game, it's like, shut up, just stop posting. Oh god, oops. Oh yeah, hey, actually, Sidley, that is the link I pulled up. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I think I stopped. I guess I didn't check out the top section. Yeah, there's pretzel there, but everything down below with once starting with like 456. Yeah, that's basically what I was doing in Notepad. But once it got to like specific artists, I would just do a Control F of like blah, and I would just see like nope, that's not there, and stuff. But certainly it is cool. But so yeah, I'll take another look at it. Whew. But let me see. But yeah, it is good that people had the same idea. So there's all that stuff. Yeah, it is kind of silly that just like basic Control F story is that I don't think that was taught to me back in computing class at school. It was like years later, and it felt stupid. Like, wow, that would have saved a lot of time. Ugh. But the problem is, like, you wouldn't know to look for it unless you already know how to do it, or you were just that curious about commands in general. So yeah, after like computing class, it's like I could type a lot, but they never went over it, or I didn't remember it. It's just one of those weird things. Whew. Anyways. But yeah, I guess such is the nature with like of like common sense and whatnot, because I'm sure there are people who are more computer savvy. It's like you did it. It's almost like the Dark Souls thing, like get good. Or like he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. You didn't know about Control F. It's like, yeah, there was a portion of time. It makes sense now, but yeah, if they didn't bring it up, you were kind of stuck. It's like I actually have to look around for stuff, but looking back on it, I don't know how I survived. But it's about but yeah, like eventually if you get past your pride, suddenly realizing it's like, oh yeah, I also should have been doing this. There's an accounting for so many lost hours. I don't know where I'm getting at with this. It's probably one of those questions like get to know your streamer. It's an embarrassing story from your past. Ha ha ha. We're not gonna dox you if you accidentally release actual information. Anyway, yes, Italy, all that stuff. Yeah, something recently. Oh, for sure. It's stupid stuff. Oh, right. I guess it's okay to accept quests from the guys in the village, but because these guys tend to stick to the village, they're safe. But every once in a while, there will be enemy spawns. So like a horde of dogs, I've seen like hordes of dogs suddenly run in that entrance and kill a couple guys. So again, you usually only accept quests once you know you can do them, so you don't lose reputation. But yeah, usually accepting bandit patch quests, it's like you're gonna fight a number of those anyways. Oh right, so okay. Getting back to where I was like 40 minutes ago. So yeah, silly shortcuts, Windows. Oh yeah, new Windows 10 stuff and all that. So silly. Oh, 2:30, attempt sleep. Alright, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Good conversation, of course. But yeah, it would have been nice maybe to show gameplay, but I think we got to the heart of some deeper catching up, I suppose. But yeah, rest well, take care of yourself, because the world sure isn't gonna. We live in a nightmare realm. You can still look for a couple bright spots, but yeah, exception, not the rule. So Chris, can't do that. Physically remove the Windows keys. Oh, jeez. Whatever works. So yeah, rookie area. There's the only shitty thing is that there's a military checkpoint down here. In universe, it's supposed to be the guys who make sure that assholes like you don't run into the zone and opportunistically start taking equipment and artifacts, messing with things beyond your understanding. I forget the exact military motivations in this game. It's something that, you know, it's just like, we work for the government. We're here to form a sort of quarantine around the Chernobyl incident. All of this magical bullshit. And they're supposed to, like, protect the scientists who are doing official research and stuff. So, if you get in the way of that means all those other factions that would try to collect artifacts, get in the way, tend to die. So, yeah, if you go down there, you get shot up by, like, a mounted machine gun, a bunch of armored guys who are way out of your league for the early game. So that's it. Yep, good night. Accurately, I'll see you in hell. Yeah. Same time tomorrow. I actually have no plans, but for sure. See you around. Take care. See ya, Chris. A lot of misclicks reaching for control all. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just trying to find out what's ergonomic for you, or the shortcuts you're actually going to use, instead of things that just take up space. Yeah, in order to play Stalker, actually, that's pretty much it. Like, there's, like, you know, things like, I'm hitting Q and E in order to lean, so that helps with the shooting. Every once in a while, you'll take cover around a corner, and you'll want that, so that you can make the shot without exposing your whole body. But yeah, like, all sorts of things, like the crouch, the super low crouch, stuff like that. Yeah, I remapped a couple of the controls to fit with my left hand better. But, like, if I was wearing a face mask, coronavirus joke. If I was wearing a mask, a helmet with, like, a visor or something, and it was raining in Anomaly, it would show your visor slowly getting, yeah, condensation, raindrops, obscuring your vision, and that's where you would, yeah, press, like, the Z key, for instance. I remapped it to have your character wipe the face down, and then you could see clearly again. Oh, okay, it's just you. You're not even worth the rifle round. Of course, sometimes they're in a group. There might be a boar behind there. So, those guys are significantly more armored, and those would be worth a rifle round. Whew. So you don't just die. Such a shame. There are axes in this game as a melee weapon, modded in by Anomaly. Well, yeah, I think it was already in Anomaly. I don't think I did anything else to change that. Yeah, I don't think those were in the base game. It was all knives for melee weapons, so... So knives in the base game were basically not meant for combat. You could eventually, late game, get a pretty good one and stuff, but it's still never as effective as a full-on gun. I can see why they wouldn't balance it so in that way, because it would be ridiculous. Maybe defeating the gunplay if you would just get close and it's always a one-hit kill or something. But, like, you know, I guess if it's supposed to pay off, if it's supposed to be risk versus reward, it kind of makes sense that if you manage to survive somebody shooting an actual gun, that, yeah, knife it would just, if you hit the right spot, like aim for their head, their neck, that you should be rewarded with a one-hit kill. But in the same sense, I guess not. That it's supposed to be super difficult to get that kind of close quarters combat hit anyways. And I guess it makes sense for a developer with a focus on gunplay. It's like, no, bringing a knife to a gunfight is actually a good way to die. So that's supposed to be a last resort, not a gameplay focus you should encourage people to do. So in the base game, yeah, knives were basically I think you still... did you? I don't think you harvested corpses with a knife in the base game, right? Maybe? It's been so long since I played the base game. I recall, like, you could hit X on corpses and maybe it would open up like a loot box. Like you would, just the same way that you pick the loot off of the bandits. I don't remember now, because it's been modded for so long. Like, there certainly wasn't, like, a skinning animation, but, like, I'm not sure. I think in the base game it would open up like this, and you would see a menu with, like, a monster name, and then a picture, and then you would just literally click the button, and harvest the meat, skins, and monster body parts. So, yeah, the knife was not even for that in the base game. It was really just breaking boxes and finishing off downed opponents. Yeah. If you're in a firefight, sometimes you can mortally wound human opponents, and sometimes they're just downed. Then you mercy kill them so you can loot their body. Sometimes you get them to surrender, which is great, because that's a chance for you to negotiate. It's like, hey, give me your weapons and supplies, or the location of, like, a stash or something. And it's better. Oh, gosh. And it's better because when somebody surrenders their gun like that, you don't get... Ugh. God. Okay. But yeah, when enemies surrender, you get a better quality gun from them, so that's just straight up better. Because you either can use it faster, or it'll sell for more because of its condition. You get better parts if you need to take it apart for that. But yeah, so you'd use the knife to finish off those guys. Oh shit, how bad is the bleeding? Should I just... I don't really... It's like with the UI, it's supposed to... I mean, therein lies the problem with UIs. The same reason why I turn on health indicators in a lot of games. It's like, it doesn't make sense for you to see the health bar. How should you know when something's about to die in a game? It's like, well, in the real world, you would see wounds, and from there, you tell how much health they have. But, yeah, when a lot of games don't change the way that characters look, they don't make things bloodier sometimes. A lot of games don't change animations for, like, oh, the character's now limping. That shows that they are wounded. It's like, if games don't do that, then you have a health bar. Because in universe, you should know. Without getting too far off topic, because in this case, my character is bleeding, but I don't know if it's, like, about to end because I got bitten on the ass once by a dog. Is it worth a bandage? I guess not. Oh! Also, I'm hurt. Hungry. So, you would... Yeah. Bread and water. Sacris. Yeah, the feeling. Yeah, the immersive UI thing in open world games. Right, so sometimes if a developer can implement it right, that's cool. You can do like a Dead Space thing. It's like, oh yeah, just put the health bar in some way that isn't too intrusive. Makes sense. And then you don't just see like level numbers and health bars, and you don't see floating numbers like in an MMO. Like, you're doing this much damage. It's nice when you can avoid that, but I also understand why they can't. So yeah, I guess I suddenly got jumped by the dogs, but usually there's something camping around this fire. Oh, yeah, around here. Sometimes over there. Bandits, the dogs in this case. So, wow, yeah, my health's going real down. Shit. Well, that's the gamble, I guess. I was hoping to seal the wound up naturally, but yeah, at this point, it's probably worth a medkit too. Oh well. Uh, so yeah, and in this case, the game does not indicate that really. Let me see. Yeah, wounded enemies pretty much only exist in two forms as far as I can recall. I don't think an Anomaly changed much. Because, yeah, in the base game, enemies would go down in a firefight, but you couldn't really tell they were about to do that. You just shoot. Sometimes, if you were really doing well enough, and you could have survived via armor and whatnot, then in a safe enough firefight, you could take out like your pistol and plug away at an enemy. It's like one shot. Is he starting to fall down? Another shot. Another shot. Maybe target the leg. If you're doing well enough to do that, then you're more likely to get downed opponents, and then you could, yeah, go to the guy, interrogate him, like, tell me where you hid your stuff, give me a free gun. But for the most part, you don't get that luxury. So yeah, you're just shooting at a guy, and sometimes he's in a recoil animation, and then he just drops dead. And then as you saw with the mutants, there are some of them, like the dogs, where they start like holding a paw up to limp and stuff, and that kind of helps you. But a lot of them don't do that. And then honestly, if you have enough time to notice that, you're usually safe anyways. But in the heat of the moment, you don't have time. Oh, it looks like that giant two-headed monster in front of my face. It's like is about to animate with a, oh no, he just shoved his foot through my skull. But yeah, I guess I shouldn't be unfair to the game. There are some like large enemies where eventually they do limp a lot more. But in that case, it's almost like a 50-50, right? It's like an enemy at 51% health will still animate as if they are fine. And, you know, that's video games. They're not gonna have a specific one for every single stage. So it's good to acknowledge what it can do. Let me see. Yeah, this is just a location. So in the game, right, they tell you usually it's like it's an anomaly. This is where you'll find artifacts. Sometimes things are just locations. This is a station. This is the mill. They're kind of overlapping each other. Or I guess it's like there's like a little green house icon you can see in the middle there. So it's kind of denoting that it's also, yeah, like a place you can camp. Or like a spot enemy spawn, perhaps, I think. I don't really know the exact classification. But yeah, you'll still find little boxes, things to grab around here. And of course, if you've played the game enough, you get to access those stashes before you get a quest marker on them from interrogating stalkers. So like, instead of a guy having to tell you, like, oh yeah, this thing that you thought was a part of the environment, it actually is a treasure chest. It's like, you could have accessed that at any point, and this game is cool like that. Like, if you remember that from previous playthroughs and you just walk there, there's a chance you could just open it up and get that stuff. A lot of it will be empty, but you have a chance. So yeah, there's the forest, yeah, the dial stuff, right, the things that, like, your character might not think about it that way, but that's what they feel. Health, armor, food, water, etc. Backpack. Attempt to be realistic, cluttered to say the least. Yeah, there's some cool stuff like that. With like, I know that, The Last of Us did that. And you know, here too, it's like simulated, sort of. Even though it kind of doesn't make sense for the UI. Like, I bring up my backpack and I can't see the right side of my screen, but I can see the left. So it'd be this weird thing where, like, you purposefully have to set up, like, I'm in a doorway, or I'm in a corner of the room, and I can just see out of the left side of my face while I open up my backpack to safely access stuff. But yeah, Firestar, good night. Catch you later. Oh yeah, glad to talk with you again after so long. Hope you're doing okay. Hopefully the delay isn't too bad. It was like 5 or 10 seconds. But yeah, definitely take care. I don't know how regular this will be, but you know. Whew. Um, but yeah, like The Last of Us, this any kind of thing where it's like it changes what your character is looking at because they're rooting through a backpack right now and stuff. So things will attack you while you're looking. So yeah, little things like that. Like in Stalker universe, the character just brings it right up to their face, and they really prefer that right eye. So yeah, usual early traversal. Oh, yeah, I guess I might as well turn that in. Well, I think that's not any stuff, right? Oh, fire start. Oh, it was good? All right, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to find how urgent somebody's message is. Like, no, I really gotta go. But yeah, good to hear that, yeah. Get you around, take care. Wild world we got. Let's see, what else can I ramble about? Relevant to the game. Oh yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, armor is degrading because I'm getting bitten in the ass. They're ripping up my clothes. Fortunately, the only repair I have is this, and yeah, when I was getting used to Anomaly, this was definitely a big part of the learning curve. With like, here's some things you can do by yourself instead of only being at the mercy of. Oh, I think I already accessed that in an earlier quest. Oh god. With like wandering around and finding equipment, things you can do. It's like this actually counts as like a mobile repair station if you have the right ingredients. But yeah, the most important thing here is that line second from the bottom with the orange bullet points, like, not usable below condition level blank. In this case, 80%. So like, yeah, that confused me a lot at the start, where I was just like seeing all the numbers and stats, and it was just like, I have this cool repair thing. It says it's used for repairs. Why won't it work? It won't show up in the menu. And so, yeah, it kind of sucks, but it makes sense that there's like different tools that work with different levels of delicacy. Where, oh yeah, this thing is too far gone. This basic repair thing doesn't work anymore. You need a more specialized kit. So it sucks where you, when you have to keep an eye out before you hit that threshold.
Nope.
But, yay, reputation! I think it's very gradual, though. So, yeah, you got this. Yeah, I'm a loners count as free stalkers. So, oh wait, I guess, yeah, this is just, oh right, this is their relationship with themselves, like this kind of neutral thing, and then Monolith are like these crazy fanatics, so of course they love themselves and hate everybody else, so, but yeah, like, that's just my general goodwill. So it's kind of weird that you start off this way and it's in the red. It almost makes it look like you're still a barely trusted person who could go rogue at any time. But yeah, so they slowly start to trust you. They slowly get you better gear, and then yeah, you're not relying on like this bargain barrel junk. But yeah, anyways, before I get too off topic, so yeah, Chris, yeah, reinstall Stalker game, maybe Fallout 4, play those, Rust. Oh, move 600 miles. Oh wow. Hey, yeah, good luck with that travel, whatever life situation you got. Stay safe. Get all right. But yeah, co-ops. Aw.
Ну, привет.
Yeah, I hope you're okay. It's a big thing. Yeah, when I was, oh gosh, like you travel, especially now and everything else, and mechanic issues, with all the caring for vehicles. Not really been my thing. It's kind of the same way that I take care of like my computer. I love to use it. It's great for video games. Could I take it apart and put it back together and maintain every single part? Like, not really. So the same thing with the cards. Like, I know it's important. It's just, it's not where my head's at. So yeah, as soon as something breaks down, then you have to call for, auto services. That's more money. It's just, right, all these issues always tie together. It's just so much to be worried about. I hate it. Okay. Right, I think I already explored all this, but this is before when I had that guy following me, so I was scared of, like, the AI getting stuck in a doorway. It's like, don't go into these enclosed spots. So yeah, Chris. Oh yeah, freezing weather delaying the move. Oh, right, for sure. Yeah, a lot of the country not used to certain conditions. But anyhow, oh great, so I was getting off topic. So yeah, with the start of the game, you get all this bargain barrel junk stuff that's functional, but the more you use it, you're gonna, see the big green condition number there. It's gonna slowly go down as it loses condition. It'll become less reliable. That's when your guns are gonna start jamming. Your armor will obviously not protect you as much, etc., etc. So the trick is like being successful enough in your exploration that you are able to repair them so that you can keep using them so that you can make money. Finding an artifact. Like, I hope I get enough money to repair these things before they become unusable. And it'll be harder for me to fight off bandits when I gather loot and stuff, right? That's a catch-22, I think. Eventually, you're going to be running around with, like, a knife and the basic pistol because you didn't take care of everything. And suddenly you're playing on hard mode. See. Yeah, the moving stuff, Chris. PC maintenance. Right, yeah, I know in theory it's like there are guides and there's all that stuff, but it's still like, I guess it's just that mindset of, are you ready to do all of this delicate work and stuff like that? In the same way that if you really wanted to, you could look up all the ways to fix a car, when you really need specific equipment and like an actual garage and a team and stuff like that. It's, yeah. But, something like an SSD. Okay. Refitting. Chris, still in the same state you did before? Or not name? Oh, yeah, it's okay. No, I think that got brought up. It's, yeah. I think I've joked about it with, like, TwitchCon and stuff. But, for sure, I do get, yeah, I appreciate the whole stuff with Twitch and doxing and all that. As long as you don't suddenly come like, oh yeah, by the way, I actually have your address. Bleh. But, yeah. In the past 2 years, part of that was, again, my family drama, which is a whole other thing. I don't think I'll bore you guys with that stuff. Although I guess I already did by talking about, like, family expectations, getting a real job, moving in with your parents, consider it a loser, what's considered successful based on the expectations of the American dream. Probably stop right there. But, yeah. So, nope, just a lot of family stuff. Spent some time in Massachusetts part of the past year, but nope, back in Alabama. The pinnacle of American progress, except when it's Texas. So, yeah, things are great. The world is a beautiful place. Okay. Yeah, Chris, yeah, family drama, very serious. Spare you from that. Oh, for sure, yeah. That's again why I mentioned things like privilege, about, like, things can be very bad. I do still know I'm better than a lot of others. Which is why I say things like, there's people who don't have anywhere else to go. There's people who become homeless and stuff, right? Where, like, they come out of the closet, they date outside of their, ethnicity, somebody who looks different or has a different belief and stuff, and suddenly, boom, uprooting their entire life. So, like, I'm lucky. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's not bad. So, yeah, which is again why I ramble so much about all those politics. It's like, there's just a bunch of people trying to live their lives, and life is difficult enough already with all this, just human interaction and knowing the right things to say and do and be proper. Yeah, like, why throw in all this bullshit about the means of living, living wage, good healthcare standards. Like, yeah, just let people move on with their lives so that they can deal with this minutia stuff instead of like something that should be a human right. It's like, no, we don't do that. We grant you the freedom to choose all these other things. Should it cost this much? It's fine. Well, okay. Well, yeah, you don't deserve that much because it's a minimum wage job. It's low skill. That must mean it's not important. But it is important. Otherwise, the job wouldn't exist, and they wouldn't be classified as essential workers during a pandemic or something. So it must be important. It's just maybe not as prestigious as, like, a doctor or a lawyer, but they deserve to live, right? No, it's apparently all high schoolers. What? That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it's the worries. But yeah, so Chris. Yeah, great. Donate outside your species. That's speciesist. For sure. Furry, sure. Do. So, yeah, this is a nice little waypoint. I actually usually make my base here in the early loner game and kind of into the mid game regarding progression, because there is a mechanic here. Not a game mechanic. I'm talking like actual equipment maintenance person. So it's great. He has a table in there. You can repair your stuff. The problem is that you have to pay him 1,000 rubles to use it. I think? Yeah, so like that gets into your equipment upgrade costs, but if you reach that point, that's cool. Upgrading, repairing your equipment there, he helps you repair the stuff that's degraded far worse. There's also a shopkeep right in front of him as well. So, yeah, all that, a stash, you can sleep in that building over there. It's like, it's kind of a natural place to hole up and stuff. Even though you start over here and you get quests from there, it's kind of not where you actually want to stay. It's, again, maybe a commentary on Sidorovich, I think is the guy. It's like he just doesn't really care about the stalkers. He's there to profit off of them, but there's not really any services here. But yeah, anyhow. But yeah, so this is a cool place. The only problem is that this place occasionally gets attacked by bandits. So sometimes you'll come in here and, yeah, friendly stalkers like him will be dead. Of course, the important NPCs, the shopkeep, the mechanic in there, they get to stay alive, but yeah, there will be bandits standing on the roof and around the fires sometimes, so you do have to keep an eye out for this location. But otherwise, it's alright. So anyhow, Chris, yeah, the species stuff. Yeah, weird living with your dad again after nearly 30 years, a Republican. He's cool as your dad, after all. Mid-70s, so he needs help. Hey, yeah, it's, familial relations, for sure, drama. I can note the political affiliation there, but again, this is where we can say things like, do we accept things that aren't perfect? There's a limit, right? And what constitutes real compromise? Like, technically, should you renounce some of those affiliations? Like, if you actually believe in some of the classic ideals, I could kinda see it. It's just, but yeah, like, obviously, you don't have to get into some of the other specifics of, like, human decency and, like, we're gonna kill you. We're literally going to storm a capital or something, but, like, yeah, like, I have family members as well who are affiliated with that conservatism and stuff, and I'm not, it feels weird to say, I don't think we're gonna have to fight in some sort of civil war with them just yet. Still family. I think they're alright. But you always wonder what might be the breaking point sometimes. But for sure, if they are not there yet, yeah, help them out. And of course, there's different philosophies people have said in regards to the events of the past couple of years about, like, toleration and killing them with kindness. Stuff like, when I say, that's why when I've debated with other people in real life and other family members when I was in Massachusetts about like, hey, so Martin, if you had your ideas come to life and you could do what you wanted to do, it's like healthcare, universal healthcare, education, all these sorts of social programs to help people. It's like, how would you do it? It's like, I would try to elevate everyone. Yes, even some of the people who we would have to drag kicking and screaming into progress. Stuff, it's like, show them what it's like when a world cares about them and they don't have to hurt others to live their lives. And you might convert some of them. So, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be 100% all principle, purge the rest of them. It's just like, you know, as long as there's a limit of like, if you try to give me free healthcare, I will literally kill you. It's like, all right. The ones who are too far gone, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who just need to be shown a different way, see the possibilities, and they, as we discussed before, wouldn't be so concerned with like living their daily lives and watching out for number one, themselves, worrying about paying their rent, healthcare, and stuff like that. Then, yeah, they would be able to expend energy on empathy and on being informed through the news and stuff to understand what's going on. To people who are not related to them, right? There's other issues. Who deserves, if anyone truly deserves things like to be hated. But yeah, it's a complicated thing. I'm sure there's a lot of unspoken stuff that I can only summarize off the top of my head here, vaguely. Whew. But yeah, you know, of course, as an elder person with all the stuff going on. But yeah, Chris, yeah, right in the thick of the government too. Oh yeah, Chris, talking the capital within spitting distance. Oh yeah, I have a friend from high school who similarly was, yeah, close. Told me about like moving to DC, and I think he was majoring in some studies, political science and stuff like that. So obviously, the past 5 years, I was saying like, wow, things must be really, really complicated over there, huh? And just, you know, don't get into the specifics with him. So apparently he's not directly involved with them. So he's not within the inner workings of it, but still, even if he's like writing about it or something adjacent to it, I still worry about that, buddy. It's like, just a bunch of bullshit getting in the way. And the same things with like making friends, making time for those close to you. Like, do I like to travel? Like, I kind of don't, but I understand why people do. And if you'd be able to do that, if you could afford to do it, if you'd have vacation time, again, from your job, right? If you can feel safe doing something like that, then yeah, like, how different would our social environment be? With like connections made, you feel more comfortable reaching out to people. It's just, you know, a fantasy, I guess. So, anyhow, I can only hope friends doing all right, you know. They're in relationships. Some of them are maybe settling down. Not gonna get into feelings of jealousy. Feeling like I should be there by now. Matching some sort of social expectation of progress. It's alright. It's gonna be okay. Oops. Okay. So, good purchase for the quick release system. Sometimes, obviously, the pack rat that I am, I'm gonna overload my character, hit over encumbrance, and then you start losing stamina when you move. So obviously, if you suddenly get jumped by monsters or bandits, you're gonna want this. You quick release, you drop your backpack, you keep your weapons, ammo. I don't think you keep your meds, which is kind of silly because you might need to heal in the fight. But you know, for a quick fight, I guess it's a punishment that you were overloaded. So yeah, you can assign this to one of these hotkeys, one of the function keys. So it's good to purchase this. I don't think I've ever found that in random loot, so that's why I'm purchasing it. But yeah, that's just something just a random thing I keep in mind. But yeah, so Chris, you'll be out of here and there. Oh, by the end of March. Oh, okay. Yeah, just wherever life takes you with that whole deal. Ugh. Purchasing binoculars. I guess I've got enough rubles. Huh. So, if you're fortunate enough, then you can just get a scope for your weapon, for like a rifle, and you could use that as your binoculars, sort of. It's nice that the actual binoculars have a little bit of, you can adjust the distance, so that's a little nice. But is it necessary? Sort of. I mean, it's good to scout. It's just sometimes I forget to do it because it takes time, and you already see how I manage my time with rambling, so all that. I don't know if I need to. I don't really feel like I need to buy a new weapon just yet. It's nice to upgrade when you can, just having to repair it. It might be nice to just jump to something that already has a scope, because I haven't got enough reputation with this faction for them to offer me scopes yet. So you can see here, I could get a PU special scope. Yes, yes, fart jokes, bad smell, the PU. I'm not that jaded. It's fine. But yeah, they don't offer the stinky scope yet. Kind of crazy that they offer this so quick, and I could afford it. One of my favorite combos is a sniper rifle plus a shotgun, because obviously in a fight you're either forcing them away from you with a ranged weapon like a sniper rifle and popping them with a scope precisely over their heads, and then if they rush you, oh no, you countered my sniper rifle, shotgun. So I mean, it's kind of a natural combo. I feel like maybe I rely on this too much because I've bought it so much in my other Anomaly playthroughs, because it's great. You get 12 shots in a revolving shotgun barrel. So I don't know if I just want to explore like other shotguns. They do kind of balance the end tiers of shotguns, I guess, because like this thing obviously has the 12 shots. You can upgrade it to like auto fire. It reloads slow as shit. So I mean, that's some of that balance. And then there are a couple of other ones, the ones that don't auto fire, but I think there's like another shotgun that has like, that reloads with a magazine, so you do it all at once. That speeds things up, sort of. You can adjust that shotgun to fire in like a 3-round burst. It might be like a tier, I guess it might classify as the tier above this though, so it might be the same family of quick firing auto shotties. As far as like non-auto firing shotguns, I think there's like a hunting one that you can get, where it's just like a super long-barreled hunting shotgun that I guess it's balanced by like each shot being more damaging in exchange for the rate of fire not being as high as, yeah, this. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just tossing that around for no reason because I'm not buying it just yet. But yeah, Chris, so if I stream, then you'll be here probably, or likely stream in the evenings or afternoons. I guess I could try to do what I was doing today. I mean, so yeah, this is the daily job thing where it's like I'm trying to, because of my sleep schedule and trying to get ready throughout the day, I've been signing up for these late day, Central Time shifts at my day job, so just because I want to be fully awake and not be late or something. So yeah, so like I said, like in about an hour, I'll be, well, I guess in like 30 minutes, I'll probably have to sign off. I should probably sign off before then, but yeah, like in about half an hour, I'll be getting ready for my shift and stuff, and then I work for a few hours, and then, you know, stay up because bedtime revenge procrastination. And then I wake up 6 or 7 hours after that, and then I do all this over, so yeah, it'll probably, if I was gonna stream during my work days, during the week, it'd probably be what I did today, like a number of hours before 10 p.m. my time. Well, that's the thing. It's not really set hours either. I guess I'll have to hear from my workplace. What my next... I think they assign the shifts in 3-month blocks. So, I'll see exactly what my schedule there will be, and then I'll probably plan around that. But what I sent to them in my request was for, yeah, either an hour from now, usually, and if I absolutely couldn't get that, oh, there's my alarm, and if I couldn't get that, then 2 hours ago. Yeah, 2 hours ago would be the other time. And again, I might not even get that. So I'll have to see what they end up allowing me to do. So yeah, like, if everything works out to my preferences, yeah, either my workday will be 2 hours ago or an hour from now. And so I'll maybe get some hours to stream in the middle of the day, Central Time, early evening, or early afternoon, I guess. Yeah. I just don't want to make any promises because again, like I disappeared off the face of the earth for 2 years because everything started to catch up with me, and I don't want to promise it again. Give all these hellos, feel guilty about goodbyes and stuff like that. So I just don't want to disappoint people, which is kind of same issue I'm having in my work, in my day job. But yeah, like if without promising too much, that's basically what I'll be doing. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stick with this job as well, so heck, I might not even have to worry about that if the things keep going the way they are. Hello there, Connie K. Hello, stalker. Get out of here, stalker. Hello, hello. Sorry, in case you haven't noticed with me chatting with buddy Chris Havoc over here, I place a huge emphasis on chat interaction, which is actually pretty bad for games like this. I'm sure you must know. Yeah, real time. It's gonna get me killed. But yeah, just a fun time trying to escape from the horrors of day jobs and all these events. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I did the wrong thing trying to fit with something that was too close. Am I modding on Twitch? Yeah, Connie K. Yeah, empathy for your work stripe friend. Thank you. Again, I know that there are a lot of people who... that's why I have to feel this privilege. Understand my own privilege. Where, like, I know there are people who don't have a choice to pay their rent, to survive, buy groceries and stuff like that. That they don't get a choice in whatever work's available and the bills they gotta pay, so they work jobs that they really don't like for, 8 hours or more days a week. So, yeah, like, the idea of, be grateful for what you got, and, like, there are people who put up with a lot worse than I do. Yeah, that's kind of partially why I feel so strongly about a lot of current events. So yeah, Connie K, work at a freezer or a grocery store, for sure, yeah. Essential workers, people who are close to customers' daily needs. Like, will society collapse if we just don't have convenient access to food and all these other things when people go to town? Before, people start killing each other over toilet paper and stuff. So, like, do you deserve a low wage? I don't know, but it's... I mean, of course not, but, like, that's why the discussion tends to go like that. Like, well, it's a very complicated thing. Ah, shoot. So yeah, Chris, yeah, unemployed, moving 600 miles. Yeah, exactly, like... There has to be a support system in place. What kind of society can we maintain? But, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic again. Yeah, looking forward to changes. Shoot. I hope I'm not getting irradiated for nothing. I remember there being an anomaly field somewhere around here. So I'm still finding these stashes, but... or no, or was it just that one over there? Shoot. So unfortunately, I mean, you can hear there's like a rumbling, not rumbling, buzzing? Warp. There it is. You got high hopes. Nope. Nothing I can detect. So, of course, would my character have known to do that? No, but I vaguely remembered it as the player, so... Yeah, maybe I'll come back to that. There's another one over there. Check out that place real quick. There might be some random mutants. There might be bandits. Might be empty. All that stuff. So yeah, there's all that. Yeah, Connie, yeah, deserving better. All that. Looking forward to changes, Chris. Ration, patch up that hill. Geiger, yeah. For sure. I'm not trying to just stand in there for nothing. And again, it's kind of the downside of like streamer brain. I'm gonna take a lot of damage that I wouldn't be doing if I was playing this by myself and able to like creep around, you know, perfectly. Okay, zombie. Oh, there you go. So only thing to keep in mind. It's an early zone, so there's probably nothing. But occasionally these zombies will be accompanied by a controller. Psychic being that destroys people's brains to transform them into mindless zombies. It sounds like it's almost behind me, even though I know there's only a second one like over there. So, usually if they are accompanied by a controller, you will die while in this harvesting animation. Ah, sweet silence. Gotta harvest the money from his pockets with my knife. Couldn't you just reach in there and nope, has to be the knife. It is, it's the zone, an anomaly, yes. The magics of the anomaly welded the coins to his flesh. That is why it must have that harvesting animation. Ah, gameplay mechanics. Anyways, Connie K. Yeah, Geiger, don't worry. Explanation. Yeah, for sure. I guess it's just for, like, the people who didn't watch Stalker with me before, and in a way, it's still my jokes about, like, what just happened, for instance. Where it's like, why do you have to do things a certain way? It's, you know, the stupid ridiculousness, and, in a way, in my thought process, I guess. It's kind of like when I watch broadcasters sometimes, they just kind of go through the motions, and that's why you see all those comments about, like, why the hell did you do that? That was stupid. What were you thinking? And sometimes the broadcaster never answers that. They don't say what they were thinking, so you try to correct them and stuff. So I guess I run into a different sort of problem where people will explain the logic and illogic behind my actions, but at least they'd understand, though. About like, oh yes, I actually do know this thing, and I'm being dumb because I'm rambling with my community, or I'm explaining my understanding of it, but I can't implement it, right? It's kind of like a theory. Like, oh yeah, I understand how it works. I understand this Dark Souls boss, I just don't know how to dodge it. Like, I know what you should do, but I can't do it. Something like that. But yeah. So all that stuff, Chris. Yeah, 7 days to die. Right, yeah, again, like, if you really did turn on that gameplay mode where all the mobs are zombies, you pretty much are playing that kind of survival game. They'll spawn so many mobs around the edge of the map and inside of these zones, and yeah, you'll basically be clearing out zombies in order to use any place safely. They will slowly try to find you. It's like, I guess they kind of like know where you are, and yeah, based on the sounds, you'll know the proximity. I forget, like on the PDA, they show like a couple rectangles, so like, forget what ruins are over there. It might not be anything, but might as well. I also know that, so yeah, another thing to keep track of, yeah, usual cordon space there. Military loves that little blockade, so I might get a rifle shot through the old cranium. Huh, yeah, well, apparently, maybe a military patrol went through there, killed that boar. I don't recall going that way. So yeah, from what I recall, well, oh, okay, in the base game, The military sets up a blockade over here, and they charge you to move through safely. In Anomaly, I don't think they do that anymore. I think they just kind of know you're not wasting your time with that. Let me see. I just forget. So, let's see. I think I'm constantly losing health from the radiation. Shoot. Yeah, I don't recall my health being that low, just since I went up the field. I was hoping that one swig of vodka would be good enough. But yeah, so there's usually like, unless, you know, random spawns, unless they're not here right now, there's usually like 2 or 3 soldiers up here who will charge you like a couple rubles. By a couple, I mean like a couple thousand to pass by safely. But I think they just kill on sight in Anomaly. So all that stuff, 7 days to die. Yeah, looking better. See, I caught a cave. Yeah, close sinking into the flesh. Gotta cut it open to search. That's true. It's just because it's bad, bad quality. Low quality from spending so much time in the zone getting mutated. Sorry, I'm rambling. I know that's there, but yeah, for sure. Imagining ramble time, Connie. Yeah, you. Oh god, damn it! Again, I dodge those much better playing solo. But yep, you got the gist of what I do here. So Chris, yeah, nice looking sky. Yeah, I think Anomaly, the standalone download, automatically comes with that. I don't think I had any graphics mods because it was already good enough. So, yeah, oops. Yeah, so that's when you hear the beeping, there's the Geiger counter stuff, and then there's the beeping noises of you're about to step into some sort of otherworldly anomaly thing. Which, you know, is a case of why is there a detector for that? How would you know? But it's more like a gameplay convenience of like obviously we shouldn't actually have a measurement of wacky, unexplained stuff. You could, I guess in universe you could reason it out as like we've detected particles much like radiation, and wherever this occurs, something fantastical tends to happen. It's like, it's fine. For the player's case, it makes sense. You don't want to waste their time. So, all this stuff like, the whole premise, right, of this where, like, you explore a zone that's been changed because of supernatural radiation and whatnot, with, like, roadside picnic and stuff. From what I heard, I hadn't actually read the book. A shame, I know, but I don't read a lot of books. I don't have the free time and interest like that because of real world bullshit. But apparently, in fiction, in a fictional book, in fiction like the roadside picnic and stuff, there's, you know, in-universe stuff with like, oh, they're traveling and then your hand brushes across this irradiated bush, this plant, and it will kill, and then you die 2 hours later, right? It's like that kind of magical science fiction bullshit. It's like, if that was actually implemented in the game, do you know how bullshit that'd be? It's like, oh yeah, you already died. It's like Fist of the North Star, like, omae wa mo shinderu, you're already dead. It's like magic without a detector. It's like, oh, sorry, your character received a fatal dose of magic bullshit from touching this one barrel. There's no beeping, no indicator, your character already died, you quick saved over it. Right? It's like, yeah, there's obviously we don't want to, we're not ready to roleplay that. I'm sure there are some masochistic people who would, but yeah, like, no. So you get a free detector built in. You're about to step into some, you know, an anomaly that shoots fire out. Watch your step. And yeah, the only reason why I die is because I'm rambling. So yeah, Chris. Yeah, forest as, in your opinion. Ah, best looking foliage with a nice sky. For sure, yeah, like, and you know, honestly, I could turn the settings up. Again, I'm not sure about, like, how high I really want it. And obviously, if whatever, like, CPU usage with, like, OBS and streaming and stuff as well. And then there's kind of the aspect of, like, I don't want it to be a full foliage because it doesn't the game's not balanced, I think, for that. So the problem is obviously what benefits foliage, grass, the bushes, and trees and stuff like that, and judging by the enemies that I've been fighting, like a bunch of wild dogs, a bunch of mutants that run around in the fields, what happens when I give them a bunch of grass to hide in? I'm going to just walk into a field like the raptors from Jurassic Park and just get boom jumped on. And you know, there's a little bit of noise when things move through grass, so that would help a little bit. But yeah, like for the most part, I think stealth in this game does not work like in parallel. Like enemies can see you hiding in, you know, like this little bush around the base of the tree. Like if there was an enemy up on that bridge there, like he could probably see me right here, even though I can't see any shit right now. Stuff. So therein lies the problem of like I could probably change my visual settings with like dense grass. The grass is like 3 times higher. It makes sense because the radiation, like it's mutating. All the plants are growing out of control and it looks cool. It's like it will be much harder to play the game. I'm gonna get killed out of nowhere. Oh, God damn it. See, I got irradiated again. Ugh, this is why you want to upgrade. Ugh. Darn it. I guess I should go for the suit, get a suit upgrade. I do have a decent amount of rubles. Shit. Oh, shit. Do I? I don't think I picked up anything, right? I shouldn't. I hope I'm not being an idiot. Yeah. There's no artifacts. This, yeah, artifacts, mutant parts. This is where, if you accidentally pick up an artifact and you don't notice it, it will be sending radiation into your inventory and your body without you noticing. But yeah, I'm not carrying anything like that. I just ran over a patch while crossing the bridge. Sorry, gosh. So yeah, I guess I could upgrade my equipment. I don't know if I have enough reputation to get any of that right now. So, I guess I'll check, but there's a decent chance I might just pass the day in-game. I might have to take a sleep. Uh-oh, I'm trying to reload, so I'm out of pistol rounds. Oh, well, not quite, but yeah, I'm out of good pistol rounds. So if I use these are labeled as old rounds, so any kind of like aged ammunition, lower quality, basically kind of the, I think this was in the base game as well, that you would find it, but basically like maybe like Metro or something, where if your guns use a bad ammo type, your guns jam, lowers the condition of the guns, so they jam more and more, take more damage. I'm not quite sure on like, oh, they do less damage or something. I'm not sure about that part, but see, I could, so if I really needed to, fine, but I'm probably gonna have to buy more pistol ammo when I get back. Not that I particularly like the pistol, but considering early game Stalker, it's the most economic ammo type. It's like, I'm going to use this rifle on every single enemy. It's like, if possible, that gets expensive. Makes sense for, like, human opponents. I mean, it's just basic sniping 101. Try to pick high-value targets. One shot, one kill. Blada blada, but like, oh, rifle, time to kill a couple of rats. I think this is hip, so... Female stalker. Yeah, apparently when this mod first came out, there was like some cringy dialogue. Because of course. Who says that gamers are awkward? Oh, I should have dropped this at the repair base up there. Yeah. So as soon as I find a basic, a toolkit, I can just drop all of these off at that place, so that mechanic will have a good reputation with me, and he'll help me with procedures, and I can buy... Well, no, I don't think he'll automate... I think it's just that he'll be able to do procedures, and I'll get a bunch of rubles for it, but I don't think he changes his inventory that much just based on that. He would have to raise my reputation with the entire faction in order for all the vendors to start updating, I think. But, yeah, I probably should have dropped a bunch of this stuff off when I was up there. Gosh darn it. If that's set up, I used up all my medical stuff while I was out there. Darn it, for the early game, I guess I should sell that. It's not like I'm gonna find a... I mean, I might be able to get an artifact container. Well, I don't have equipment that lets me use it, so I mean, I guess I should. Just sell it off. But anyway, sorry, off topic. So, yeah, that female stalker was added in with Anomaly, I think. So, it's a little quest line to get her as, like, a companion. If you want, it's, I think, pretty expensive to get that gun that she's asking for. She's supposed to be, like, a character, you know, basic story of, like, oh, yeah, I'm working on a job, and I'll work with you, I'll trust you if you do this. And, unfortunately... she is also prone to dying. I think she has a lot of health. But still, like, in Stalker terms, a lot of health doesn't always mean that much when the AI runs into a dumb situation. So, unfortunately, there's a chance that you invest a bunch of rubles and equipment on her, and she's gonna run in and die. Hopefully you can get it back from her. Shoot, I think I think this is... No, I think this guy's buying this jewelry box for the same price as the shopkeep up there. I don't know, I think maybe his rates on his stuff is worse, but I think he's accepting your stuff. Okay. Yeah, Chris, yeah, Artie's facts are good, yes. Artie's true facts. No... Still good to verify. Knows what he's talking about. A world where Artie's facts actually are worth a lot of money. Oh, wait, did I... I think I've harvested a few parts by now. I think I put it in the box. But yeah, if possible, you think you usually get yeah, you get a better price from a guy in the garbage, which is a zone. The garbage zone. Yeah, there's a guy up top there, the zone up from here, who is like a hunting fanatic, so if possible, you want to stockpile your parts as trophies, and you get a better price up there. The same way that you want to stockpile these artifacts, sell them to the scientists, just get the most bang for your buck. But, you know, in reverse, they give you their bucks. Yeah, I guess... Right. Just buy it so I'm not getting torn apart in rags. So yeah, you can see this, whew, hefty price. Of course, it's... The annoying part here is when... obviously these are damaged, so the problem is the stats aren't quite as good as when you fully repair it. So if you're comparing something that's in the darker green of healthy versus something starting to get more damage, you don't really get a full comparison. At the very least, I'm pretty sure he's balanced to lower the price a bit if it's this damage, though, which is why I can even think about purchasing some of this. I guess a safe bet for me, my playstyle, is usually a couple of artifact containers with weight carried. It's like all these other stats are good. It's like, I'm here for combat. Then you might not care about anything else. But... Huh, yeah, that's starting to look like the good one. that one is, yeah, like next tier up. Yeah, I think just disregard the top row. Oh yeah, for like a new loner playstyle. Shoot, right. Well, oh right, okay. I can sell him the shirt off my back. As I strip down in front of him, Stalker, I do not accept payment in this manner. But yeah, that's not gonna get me there. Fine. But could I? Huh. Damn it. I probably could have just tried to make a run for it, but whatever. And that too. I don't know. Maybe I guess I min-max too often, and that on top of my normal rambling is not good. So like, maybe I shouldn't just do this for everything. Wring out every single ruble from every transaction. It's okay. That's the sort of thing that in my offline Stalker Anomaly playthroughs is what drives me to, you know, loot every piece of equipment, sell it back to merchants, slowly stumble my over-encumbered body back to camp. It's like, just drop it. It's not even worth it. It just feels like stuff I could be using. It's kind of like Fallout 4. Oh, shoot. I guess I just thought of it. I hope this music isn't copyrighted. Russian artist. Radios of the Zone. Yeah, that kind of sucks because it, you know, depending on the different bases, you get, it's like atmospheric, right? And that's where you get the bandits with the cheeky breaky. They're like, I think they have like a trumpet soundtrack or something. So the kind of songs that you could imagine somebody doing that Russian kick dance low to the ground. But I guess. Yeah, hoarder. I know, but it's like, look, it's a gun that's been smashed into a billion pieces. You don't think somebody wants it somewhere? And if they don't want it, then I'll take it apart and I'll take all those broken pieces and I can make a new gun. Or I'll fix them up later. That last part is kind of legitimate because the game's crafting system does reward you for having like such and such random pieces. Like, you know, there are certain things that you could craft with this rope, right? It's just like, it weighs 0.7 kilograms. Really heavy. I found like, yeah, ropes and these shovels are, you know, considering the size, they don't look like that much. But yeah, they're little things that you'll occasionally pick up that just weigh you down when your max is, you know, this low. For difficulty, you could increase your carry weight, so, you know, if you don't want to deal with the tedium. Okay. Yeah, so with 4,000 left before doing anything else, oh, right, was I gonna pick up ammo here? Usually, with how much, eventually, you find a ton of pistol ammo, and at that point, it's cool that you can still use the most basic ammo type, and it's balanced out by this thing having 27 in the magazine, and you fire it automatically. So yeah, at that point, you are just barraging opponents with shitty ammo. So that's a nice way of maintaining a bad weapon into mid-game. But yeah, at the start here with like, I'm firing 8 shots very slowly of the bad ammo. I'm not really, I guess I'm okay as long as I still have this. I've got 20 shots left. Eh. This, I don't know if... Oh, shoot! Right, this might have been my mistake, actually, because a lot of your radiation resistance actually comes from your helmet. So, like, you're breathing in. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Like this, yeah, here is where you get, like, plus 42%. So, ugh. Anyhow. Yeah, Chris, it's time. Yeah, I know, I'm looking at the... Yeah, it's 9:30, so... I don't... Yeah, I should probably head out before I lose a job and then I get a lot more time to hang out with you guys. Oh boy. So my off stream, I've lost some saves because of updating versions. So I've tried like Mercenary, a bunch of other stuff, but uh, and yeah, in this fresh install, I was trying military and just like running and gunning a lot more than artifact hunting and mutant hunting. So yeah, military guy. I named him Martial Law. Very healthy. But yeah, no, I should get ready for reality. Okay. Ugh. Gosh. Okay. Still, yep. Transitioning the scenes in OBS. Huzzah! I still got it! I'm so out of practice with everything. How much I got to rant with everybody today. Seeing a couple familiar faces. Letting them know I'm not dead yet. At least not on the outside. But yeah, guys. I wish you well. I'm glad I got to see some of you again. Some of you I hate. I'm not gonna tell who. It's good to see all of you guys. I wish real life allowed me to do this a lot more, and who knows? Maybe I'll make some sort of breakthrough. But yeah, take care. I don't want to promise anything because real life sucks. I'm trying to mostly stick to like Monday to Thursday or Friday. But yeah, I guess focus on like maybe the weekend. But I keep saying maybe. I'm so bad with letting people down. So take care. See you guys next time. Bye bye.